let's get on the driving aspect of it because you drive for a living,
I do.
and these rants that you get on, you
Man.
you lose it on people, But I'm happy to see it because it's real. Um, if you drive around and you don't get upset with, first of all, the traffic light system, if you don't get upset with people's driving, the irresponsibility of someone just, man, I was on my way here and I was getting in the turning lane to turn in at the stoplight down here. And as I got into the turning lane, there was a car that was in front of me that kept going by, and they just squeezed really quick, no turn signal, no nothing, and just like yanked in and left the turning lane onto incoming traffic and went right into the gas station that's right here at the corner.
I'm not
Almost
surprised.
caused a wreck right there, and I'm like, and the admin of Bay County Bad Drivers, he's been telling me like over and over and over again. He's been like, dude, like get a dash cam, and like I should get a dash cam for things like that right there because that person almost caused a wreck. I mean, could have killed somebody, and it's irresponsibility on them. And accountability is a big thing. I mean, I think you do need it here. But after seeing some of these man, dude, you're right most of the time.
It's like I said, I've logged a lot of miles through the years. I've hit all 48 contiguous day and night, night and day, and it's a frustration, and a lot of it is befuddling to me,
Mhm.
and frustration. I know it comes out as rage and anger, but I mean, after the incident's done, it's done. There's no more. It's gone. Like a piece of paper blowing by in my yard. It's once it's there, I don't like it, and then it disappears.
Yeah.
But it goes to something larger than just that moment. It goes towards a pattern of behavior. We all make decisions based on self. We all do it. I but there's at the same time, one can take into the account of how that decision based for my decisions. I make decisions for me based on me. But I also take into consideration how that will affect others.
Mhm.
Right? And what are possible repercussions if I do this? What may happen? Not guaranteed, but what may happen? Am I willing to ride that out to the end? And a lot of folks don't think like that. It's just right here, right now, what I want, and it all
Yeah.
comes down to selfishness.
Well, so you also are military background. And I think that's something that's instilled when you go in the military. It's like you never want to be in anybody's way. You never want to be the problem.
Don't
You
be
know,
that guy.
don't be
That guy.
that guy. Yeah. Yes. Don't
I
be
got
the
to get a
nerd.
name tape. That guy.
Yep, yep, yep. And the thing about it is like, because I remember that was like the main part of adapting to military life was don't be in the way, don't be a problem, don't be that guy. And but then you come back home and it's something as simple as traffic, and it's like you literally don't give a shit about anybody else on the road. It's just your road. We all just drive on it. It's your world. We all just live in it.
That's
And
right.
and so it's that whole thing of accountability. I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I know a lot of people hate the Bay County Bad Drivers page because of what they do, but it does hold people accountable when you make a mistake on out in public, and somebody posts a video of you doing something just freaking stupid. And then it's like, listen, if I get posted on the page, I'll laugh, and I just be like, you got me. Yeah, I was in a hurry, and I I didn't have time to wait, freaking 30 minutes for you to speed up to actually go the speed limit. So I mean, I've been on the page already once, and so and I it showed a side of me that wasn't that great as far as my driving skills go, but at the same time, I have places to be, and a
Understood.
lot of a lot of people drive, especially here. Like I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm just gonna go 25 miles an hour down 23rd Street. Back when I was growing up, you'd have gone 25 miles an hour down 23rd Street. You'd have been in somebody's freaking grill.
It's painful.
And it's unnecessary. A lot of people try to blame it on, oh, there's just so many people. It's not a people aspect. It's well, I mean, it
Well,
is, but it's the selfishness that you're talking about.
a lot of well, all right, selfish, and then there's greatest terminology, paying attention, being observant. All right, so we all know there's a red light, which means stop. Yellow means caution, and then there's what's the other one? Green.
Yeah.
It means what?
Go.
Right.
Hey, when
Two
it's
letters, one
it
syllable.
doesn't mean go 5 minutes from now either.
That's
It means
right.
go right now.
Yeah. So when
Traffic is
the
moving.
and so when the vehicle in front moves, the vehicle behind moves
Yeah.
simultaneously as speed increases, following distance increases. It's not complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, people do complicate
And
it.
there's much of what I witness. A vehicle will just wait an arbitrary duration of time and or distance before the vehicle directly in front of them moves, and then I'll go now. What things to do?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it's not just about me because there are other people. I mean, I'm responsible for me, and I had one where I was barking about the vehicle directly in front of me not getting out into an intersection. Well, it's not just about me. Yes, I was second in line. But as I look in my mirror, I see the traffic behind me
Yeah.
gathering. And there was the last vehicle had a portion of their vehicle in the left lane.
That's what pisses me off so bad because I go down well, I used to go down Baldwin every day. I stopped going down Baldwin. I just go down 231 and hit 15th Street, and then I get Malfunction Junction down there at Harrison Avenue and freaking 231.
Oh, it's a
15.
lovely place.
I hate that fucking place. But anyway, I used to go down Baldwin every morning. I hit every single light. I will. I don't think it freaking matters as far as committing a saying that I committed a traffic violation while I'm on the mic. But so I used to I've owned several Ducatis over the past years, and so the last one that I had was a Ducati Panigale V4, and bad, like fast. So I just wanted to prove that I could at least hit because what I'll do is I come down, I don't remember, by Mosley, and I'll take a right onto Baldwin, and then I hit the light at 77, right? Gas station, you got the orthodontist right there on the corner. Light turns green every single day. Because I'll hit it. I always hit a red light there. Light will turn green. I take off. I think the speed limit on Baldwin is 35 miles an hour. You could take off and hit 35 miles an hour really quick. You will hit the Harrison Avenue light. And after you hit the Harrison Avenue light, you will hit the Jinx Avenue light. And then you will hit the 390 light. You hit every single fucking one after. So one morning, it was because at the time I was working on the beach for a contractor, and one morning it was around 5:30 because I was like, okay, I'm gonna get to the office around 6. I was on my bike and I hit that light, and I was like, you know what? How fast do I got to get before I can hit that? I hit 125 in between the 77 light and Harrison Avenue, and I still hit that motherfucker. It is literally designed to where you will not, you won't hit it. Now, going the opposite direction, you can hit 2 of those lights, but you're guaranteed to hit the next 2 as far as red lights. I've done this a million times. And then I've done this too. I know I'm talking a lot, but it takes me on average, if I wake up I wake up pretty early in the morning, but when I get back from my run and I get dressed and I get ready, I'll leave the house around 6 a.m. If I leave my house at 6 a.m. to be to the base, it's a 42-minute drive to go 12 miles. 42 minutes to go 12 miles.
Yeah.
I lived in Tampa for over a year. They have real traffic there.
Oh, that place a freak show.
I never Never. And the only way that was going to happen is if there was an accident. For me to not, because I went, the job that I worked at was probably around, I think it was like 8 miles from where I lived. It was consistently that 8 miles would take me 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most. But I mean, that's Tampa, and that's Tampa traffic. Like, I actually had a bunch of cars around me every single morning going to work, and I still didn't have the problems that we had. So it's not the people. The traffic light system's fucked.
Well, there is some of that. Now, you mentioned two points. So, as an individual, my assessment, speed unto itself is victimless.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't want to hear speed kills. Stop lying. Stop regurgitating that nonsense. It's bullshit.
Speed?
Yeah, speed. Speed kills. No, that's not true. You ever been to a drag race? Cracking over 300 miles an hour
No.
in less than a quarter mile, they're still alive.
What kills is the immediate stop.
No.
That's
No.
normally
No.
it was a joke, but
I get it. But
Yeah.
but people, they just will stand on that and regurgitate that, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's
no.
people. Well, you're so literal. That's yes.
The safety aspect
No,
of
can it contribute? Yes, it can contribute, but it's not an automatic.
yeah.
Loss of control. And I've witnessed vehicles lose control for whatever multiple reasons at 4 miles per hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've witnessed it.
Some of the worst wrecks that I've seen have been at lower speeds, not high speeds.
Oh.
And then actually, so you just brought up that speed thing. Can't remember. I think it was the Bay County Bad Drivers admin that I had on, and I had asked who regulates the traffic speed, miles per hour, and it's the DOT. I want to know how in the hell these cities get off doing what they do, because for the longest time, and I think it's still this way, you know, that curve when you're coming down 23rd Street and you're coming around right by the college, that curve right there is 35 miles an hour.
Yes.
It's a 4-lane divided fucking highway,
Yeah.
4-lane divided fucking road. 45 miles an hour. Why? Why are we slowing down? Like, makes no sense. But they changed some of these speed limits all the time. They just changed a speed limit in front of my house on Mosley Drive, in between the hammocks and my neighborhood, Hawks Landing. They just changed that road to I say they changed it. It was like over a year ago, but it's 25 miles an hour. Why? 25 miles an hour on a road, like as
I understand speed limit implementation, so it begins with engineers, the traffic engineers, design of the road. There's a pitch, elevation changes, right, inclines, and then we factor in geographical location. You're gonna get snow and ice.
Yeah.
Right, there's that. I mean, years ago, it's not in existence now, but years ago out in Texas, for trucks, speed limit was 65 at night and 70 during the day.
Yeah.
That's been gone for a few years now, but it did. And then there's the aspect that yes, municipalities do have some leeway to adjust,
Yeah.
but
I wish they would regulate. You know, one of my biggest things is you want to give a ticket for going 10 over, but you won't give a ticket for going 10 under. You can get, like I said earlier, going down 23rd Street, it is. You'll get on 20, and I know you know, you'll get on 23rd Street at 3:00 in the afternoon.
it's a disaster.
You'll get behind somebody, and everybody wants to blame it. Now, I can blame it on the traffic engineering department when it comes to the light system. I think that's a lot of our problem. I don't think it's the amount of people that we have. I think it has to do with they're trying to use what seemed like, because I took a tour. I think his name is Mike Nelson. He was in my parents' Sunday school class for a long time. Dude is the nicest guy in the world. Give the shirt off his back to you. Great guy. As he was explaining the light system that we have here, It actually is like AI almost, AI generated. So it can pick up things that are in the middle of the road to determine whether or not it's actually a vehicle or whether or not. So, like, if a car sits at a traffic light for too long, like, let's say the light turns green and the car just sits there because you got a douchebag that's sitting there texting, right? And he sits there for too long. The traffic light, that system will recognize that car as a part of the road instead of
A
a
remaining
car.
fixture.
Yeah. So they'll actually think that. So then that throws off the next
Yeah.
cycle for all of the traffic lights that are behind you. So the people that are freaking playing on their phone, or I don't know what the hell you're doing. The light turns green. For some reason, it's become a habit here. I don't see it in any other places. 'Cause we went out to I've been out to Nevada a lot. I've been to California over the past couple years, and then of course living down in Tampa, and like only in Bay County does the light turn green and people don't freaking move. You've driven a lot of places.
I have.
I mean, am I? It seems like
Well, I've encountered that, and then there's the folks that cross the stop bar out into the intersection. That's always helpful. And in a big truck, I need to make a left turn. I'm trying to do so, but the vehicle to my left at a four-way has fully crossed the stop bar, and then I got that one telling me I'm number one. I'm not the problem here. I'll sit here all day. You are wrong, and you will fix yourself eventually.
yeah.
Another aspect that, as far as traffic signal, are the aspect having them flash yellow until at a certain window. We'll say from 2100 till 06 the next morning.
They need to do that. I don't understand this concept of people just. Some people have to be regulated and told what to do because they can't make logical decisions for themselves. If you show up to a stoplight and all of the lights at the intersection are red and it is 9 o'clock at night, and you stop at that light and you wait for it to turn green, you are not a law abiding citizen. You are programmed and brainwashed. There is not a judge in the world that is going to convict you for running that light. I come up, I treat it as a four-way stop. I look both ways, and I keep going. But you're right. It used to be after certain times that they would do the caution lights.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned about coming to a complete stop, and based upon again, so what does red mean? Stop.
Yeah.
Pretty simple,
Mm.
right? And what color is a stop sign? Red.
Red.
Okay, so if you come to a complete stop, left, right, left, just as you were taught as a child, hopefully you were, cross the street, and then proceed. However, the illustrious government says, what about the traffic light? If it's flashing, you treat it as a
Yeah.
stop sign.
I didn't say what I said was legal, but what I am
Well, I
saying
know.
is that is logical. If you look both ways and there's nobody,
But when you come to a complete stop and there's no cross traffic,
yeah, what am I doing here? That
So-
happens. But that'll also happen in the
I
middle
don't
of
have
the
a
day.
beef with that.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it happens in the middle of the day sometimes too. I think Kendall, you can weigh in on this too because I know you drive quite a bit. But um, it's nothing to show up to a stoplight and all of this traffic stops flowing and there's no cross traffic that's going across. I'm going, why are we stopping? You literally have stopped us. Now we're in this cycle of stopping at the next 4 freaking lights.
I deliberately avoid certain stretches of road. For instance, 390 to go 23rd up 390 to 77. I will catch this one particular, or there's 2 or 3. Was it Airport Road? and there's another, might be Frankfurt Airport Road, and then eventually Lisenby.
Hmm.
And no, I'm not doing it.
Oh, you don't take.
I will go out of my way and drive farther and go to 77 and go north.
So I
Or
like
some other route, or Jenks.
What I normally hit now
Because,
is,
like you just described,
yeah,
I look around and there's the east-west, 3-4 vehicles deep, and to my left and to the right, there's nobody.
yeah, happens all the time. It's so weird. I don't know. I mean, again, I know that it's the new technology that's come out.
Have them flash yellow.
Yeah.
Caution. Very simple.
Yeah. After a certain time, which, 10 o'clock at night, probably 9 o'clock.
10P6A.
Yeah. It's normally when traffic starts to kind of get up and get moving anyway, like a little bit after 6. Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing. No, what I like to do now is I will, because I get off work consistently every day at 3 o'clock. Or in that time frame, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. But when I leave, I will take. I've started taking 15th Street more now to 231 and go up 231 to 389 or to 389 East Avenue. But if I do decide I'm going to take 23rd Street, I take 23rd Street around, and then I come up by Home Depot, and I'll take a left on Harrison, hit Baldwin, because I skip all that stupid freaking bullcrap, and then I'll head over to and go through Mosley that way. But I don't know. I've been enjoying the 15th Street to 231 route. The only problem with that route is the damn intersection there at Harrison 231 and 15th Street.
That's a drag. There's no debate about that.
I mean, it's not that it's bearable in the I don't know. It's bearable compared. I would much rather deal with Harrison 15th, that malfunction junction. I would much rather deal with that than hitting every freaking stoplight on 23rd Street. Or hitting all the stupid construction on 390. So it's like you gotta take some sort of evil with whatever you're gonna do. It's the lesser of evil.
I don't like remaining stationary. My point is, if there's traffic or bad lights, whatever the case may be, I will drive farther just to keep moving.
Yeah. Well, I've been known to do that.
Oh,
I'll take back roads. Where, because sometimes I'll take Stanford up, and then I'll take Rosemont over to State. I'll take Rosemont to State. So I actually cut through a neighborhood, and my wife was with me one day, and she said the same exact thing. She's like, "This took way longer," and I was like, "Yeah, but
it's not as aggravating."
It's not. It's not as aggravating.
But that goes back to what we described about paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, human beings subconsciously, by default, we assess, we plan, and we execute. You're dirty. You're sweaty. You know you need to wash, but subconsciously, there's formulation of a plan for execution. You know you need water. You know you need soap. Preferably the water be hot. Hopefully you have clean clothing. And you need a location. So, I mean, but the trick is to get folks to do that in a conscious manner. That's what I do to subvert the aggravation and or the holdup. I assess, well, what do I want? What am I willing to do to achieve it?
Yeah.
And I have to ask myself that and answer myself.
Yeah.
What's the payoff? I don't get aggravated if I go this route instead.
Yeah, keeping your sanity doing something that may seem insane, but you're just like, I'd rather do this than have to get upset.
And of course, it's a preference. Some folks are willing to put themselves through that.
Yeah, well, what I love is when people sit there and say, "Just be patient, man."
If I want patience, I'll be a doctor. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's all about the mindset of the individual. If you can be patient through that, again, coming from a world where you intentionally get out of the way. You know how many times I'm in the left lane and I see a car that comes up behind me and they're on my tail. I just get the fuck over. I'll get over into the right hand lane
Daily I do
and
it.
I let them go by. There are people I've literally ridden with people this month. That's only been a couple days. This month, I've ridden with somebody that sat there and was like, "Look at this guy just riding my ass." I'm like, get out of his way. Let him go. You don't know where he's going. He could be headed to the hospital. Like, his wife could be
I don't
giving
care if
birth.
they just
His
like to
dad,
drive fast. I don't care.
well, exactly. Just get the hell out of the way. Let him go by. It's not worth you, especially nowadays. People just pull out a gun and shoot the shit out of you.
Well,
They don't care.
Well, yeah, there's that.
But the aspect is don't get in people's way. If somebody's in a hurry, let them go by you. What is it going to hurt you? You're not the
tried to
freaking
explain
police.
that to folks. I use the example of walking into a restaurant. Yes, it's there for the general public to enter if they choose. But you have the wait staff, and I watch for those people. Even if they're empty-handed, they're going to a customer somewhere.
Mhm.
I see them coming, I put my hands down at my sides, and I step back or forward. Let
Yeah.
them go by, unimpeded.
Yep.
I can wait 4.5 seconds to sit down
No.
or to make it to the latrine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a courtesy. It's a respect. It's being observant and paying attention to others.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's no courtesy on the roads.
And that
though.
goes back to what I stated earlier is pattern of behavior, which goes back to predominantly selfishness. And you wonder why society's jacked up. It all comes back to that.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. Heck yeah, there was a period in my life I was just an unsavory element. Some may say that now, based upon clips. But no, I was, and I was also, and part of that, I was also a menace to the motoring public in my early years.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I don't wear it as a badge of honor, but it's just an ugly fact. My total time with a suspended privilege was 9 years.
9 years. No driver's license?
Correct.
What happened?
Lots of bad behavior and selfish decisions. I think through different states, I've been convicted of 5 drunk drivings.
Wow.
And that goes back towards what did I just say? Selfishness.
Yeah.
But after I decided, hey, my life is a disaster and it's of my own making.
Yeah.
And I started to straighten up. And then I back and review my behavior. And it wasn't about it's an aspect, the unlawfulness and the irresponsibility. But what occurred to me is how selfish was I to put all these folks at risk? That's disgusting. So I've been that guy. I've been that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself a crusader. I just try to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that have made mistakes like that in their life. And
I wouldn't say it was a mistake. I chose to do because
but
I
what
was
I'm
selfish.
saying is like a lot of people can't look back on those decisions in life and realize that it was actually a selfish thing. That happens a lot. And there's been things that, but yeah, but I haven't, nothing like that. My license has never been suspended.
And I thought about it there, whatever age, I don't recall exactly, but so with that duration, at a certain point in time, it was non-valid, then it was valid. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, I had a moment. It was a few months back. I had hung out with some buddies, left the bar, and then like the next morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh no, how did I get home?" And I
You
was
were
like,
doing time travel.
Oh yeah, I was like, "How did I get home? I know I left the bar, blah blah blah." And I was feeling so bad because I was like, I don't know how I got home. Like I woke up, my wife was like, "Hey, and so Saturday morning, got the kids that are running around, and I actually went into like a deep depression for like an hour or two. And I was sitting there and I felt so bad because I was like, I don't know how I got home. I know I drove home and I know I got in my vehicle. I left the bar, whatever. And then I went outside. I went out to the garage, opened up the garage door. My truck wasn't there. And then I was like, oh, good. I didn't drive. Wait, how did I get home? Now I'm like,
Or it's
oh,
parked in
wow.
the.
Now this is a really bad problem because I don't know how I got home. And I ended up calling Kendall. And he's like, nah, man, you took an Uber. And I was like,
Or it was parked in
good.
the neighbor's yard.
Where's my truck? And it's like, man, dude, it's still at the bar, probably, as long as nobody stole it in the middle of the night. But it was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, man, I've had a couple of those moments now. And of course, when I was in the military, I mean, yeah, there's a few times where
I don't really remember.
God was looking after me a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I've experienced that. That's why I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't really remember pretty much the entire year of 1991. I was telling somebody that
That's
recently.
the year I was born.
And they looked at me and like, what do you mean? Just what I said. I can remember what physical state I was in, but I don't remember I was an abuser of alcohol.
Really?
Well, I think that narrows it down, yeah.
And now you don't drink anymore.
Oh, no, I gave it up quite a while ago. It works better for me that way, and others.
Have you felt better since then? Like, you ever look back on it and be like, yeah,
I had a lot of good times, make no mistake. Oh, indeed, I did.
Yeah.
But the bad outweighs the good.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's worth it.
Oh, I had a lot of good times. Yeah, and that was before everyone had a camera in their pocket. Yes, there was a lot of good times, and we'll leave it at that.
But you don't ever wake up or in the evening time wish that you had a drink or anything like that?
No. I mean, I've thought about it. It's like, it'd be pretty nice, and I continue to think about it. It's like, no, I know me. I go mess around with that.
I'm not just going to
Bad
have
idea.
one.
Just like I don't gamble anymore either. No, there's no gambling.
I just gambled.
I used to.
I got
to the point where I was pawning stuff to go to the casino and hit the blackjack table.
Oh,
yes.
you were a junkie.
Oh, yeah, I was a scumbag.
Oh, wait. So where were you living then?
At the time, I was living in Mississippi. So there were
Biloxi
casinos.
right there?
Well, I went to the casinos on the Mississippi River rather than the South. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if it was bad or even questionable, all right, I'll give that a whirl.
Wow. Yeah, I just gambled for the first time in years. We went on a cruise down to Cozumel. And when we were headed down there, I went down to the casino that was on the ship. And man, dude, I remembered, I was like, man, I don't understand why I don't do this more, because I was up like, I think at one point in time I was up like $2,500. And I was like, man, I'm doing amazing. And the amount of time that it took me to hit it was probably about 3-4 hours. I lost it all in like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
That
Welcome.
quick. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the ATM. I'm gonna go get some more cash. And then like as I'm walking to the ATM, I was like, oh, they got me. Because I think I started with like $350. I was like, I can lose $300.
Oh, good for you.
Well,
they don't stay in business because they pay out all the time.
Yeah, I know. But it was like, $300. Oh, I turned it into $2,500, and then I lost it all.
I don't do it.
Within a couple minutes, and then I sat there, and as I was going to that ATM, I literally was like, "Oh my God, this is how they get you!" Like, because I had never, when I was in my younger 20s, I really didn't have any money to lose. I really don't have any money to lose now, but I didn't have money to play with, and now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I got a little bit of money to play with, but like I remember, there was only one night that I went to the casino. One night that I went to the casino on that cruise, and I had breakfast with everybody the next morning, and everybody was like, "So how was the casino last night?" And I was like, "Oh, I was up $2,500." They're like, "Really? That's great!" And I was like, "Lost it all." And like,
good job, yeah. Nice.
Not even.
You're an overachiever. Yeah.
Because as I was losing each hand, I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna come back around."
So I want you to just think about this. So from from where you were, if you can remember, approximately how many people were in that casino while you were for that duration of time? Just say an average, 100, 50, 200.
Yeah, there was probably, including at the bar, probably like 120 people. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say 100 for simple math because I
Yeah.
don't want to take off my
$100
shoes.
bucks. Yeah.
So times $300 a person, or even 200. How much money is that? 100 times 100.
Wow.
That's why they stay in business.
Yeah. Well, my dad always used to say that when I was a kid because my parents were.
I didn't realize that when I was doing it.
Yeah, my parents
I was
were
an
like,
idiot.
yeah, my parents
I'm
are,
just an older idiot now.
they're like straight edge, right? So they don't drink alcohol, they don't gamble, they don't do anything like that, which is good because I had a good upbringing, learning not to be around that, and I was just stupid enough not to really pick up on what was going on. But my dad used to say all the time when it came to gambling, like, look around, if they're able to run the lights for a casino, dude, that should tell you that you're not gonna come out a winner.
Yeah, man.
You're never gonna come out a winner. Like you're
Oh,
always.
I paid a few electric bills. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
you start talking about pawning stuff. What's the biggest thing you pawned off to be able to go and gamble?
Jewelry, stuff that, yeah, well, pretty much anything that I was willing to part with, and I'd go back and get it. But then, it was just an ugly habit. It was a cycle. It was like, oh my God,
How long did that go on for?
I'd say about a year.
A year? You went on a. That's not too bad. A lot of people throw their whole lives away. You're like, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Is I threw my life away.
Well, I gotta say, so I quit the gambling and the drinking simultaneously. So yeah, the last year was the gambling, but I had 9 years prior to that of copious alcohol abuse.
So how many years have you been sober? You said 1991.
No, that's just a year I don't remember. No, I can't remember if I was at Fort Drum not yet. I don't know. It was
Fort Drum.
I don't remember.
Woo,
I
fuck
mean, I
that
remember where I
place.
was, but I've been a lot of places, done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, I'll touch on that in a moment. But no, back to your question. It's been over 25 or 26 years, something like that.
25, 26 years
Yeah.
since you've had a drink.
But now back to Fort Drum. So I'm
So you're 10th Mountain.
No, well, no, I wasn't part of them. I was doing some training up there.
Oh.
But I do remember now. Well, for folks my age or older, they'll know there was a place. Trying to think of the joint that was off post. Flat Rock, Black Rock, Flat Rock. There's a bar.
Oh,
It was that place. Everyone would it was a seedy, just a dive bar. That's where we went. Oh, it's been torn down God knows how many years. I talked to a young fella and mentioned that. He says, I heard stories about that place.
yeah. Just a place you went and got into trouble.
Of course.
We have a.
Even if it wasn't legal trouble, there was some kind of trouble involved.
We have an exotic dancer.
I mean, my internal organs took a beating. Drinking.
Okay, I'm happy
Yeah.
that you clarified that it was
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the drinking.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask, are you okay?
Well,
How big was the dude? Like,
well, that didn't happen frequently,
oh,
but it did a couple of times, taking a good beating. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that.
yeah. Now we have an exotic dancer that's going to be coming on shortly. That we have coming on the thing, and she's going to be bringing on, shedding some light on that scene.
That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, we're trying to hit all over the map.
And the
Talk to
reason I
everybody.
say is there was one particular, whatever year it was, I stopped at a bar, wherever it was, and I was doing what I do, drinking. I'm at the bar drinking, and this young lady approached me and started talking, so I drank, and then she said, I have to go to work. Go to work, and I look at it's like 10 o'clock, and what do you mean you're going to work?
Yeah, wait, you work at a convenience store?
I was at the dancing bar. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was doing what I do. Oh, you're dancing. Oh, okay. But it just made me wonder, like, what? I, yeah, that's I don't know. It's not something I would venture to do.
Oh,
Not that I, look, I can't pay anybody to take this, but so I got to stay married. but but
yeah.
no, it's just no, I just call me a prude. I don't know. I just wouldn't do it.
Oh, you wouldn't go into one of those places?
No, I mean to be a performer, even if I could. I
don't think you could.
I mean, I'm saying, even if I was one of these young buff guys, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It's definitely an
Is
interesting.
Is that is that classified as an exhibitionist? Or is that just a word I'm really not familiar with? Or is that a performer? I mean, I don't know. Or both.
I don't know. Yeah, performer, I guess, but it seems like it would be a pretty tough life to get into, or to have to do that every day. I don't know how I would do with it, because like guys, or even if you're a dude that did it for women, there has to come a point in time where you're tired of being touched, groped, sexual innuendos. I don't know. It'd be something to ask.
I mean, the last time I went to a place like that, I think it was 1996. I was going to school down in North Miami. So, of course, I and my roommate and a couple other guys from the local fraternity, we went in there, and it's a memory, somewhat.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't, even as I'm called a spectator, I just never really interested me. Look, I used to work with a guy, I spent...
Guys will throw their whole freaking salaries
That's what
away.
this guy was doing.
Yeah.
And he'd come in and he'd say, I spent like $200, and this is back in the 90s.
Oh.
And I look, okay, it's your money.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Although not that drinking that much was much better, but...
Yeah, when I was in the Army, I would hear stories all the time about guys that are like, yeah, I went in there last night, I spent $1,200. I'm like, dude, you only make like $300 a week. How are you spending $1,200 going to the freaking strip club?
Yeah,
That's
that's not
crazy to me. Like, yeah, me and Candy are getting married. And I'd be like, does she know that you're an E2 and that you don't make any money at all?
I'm taking a hard pass on all of that. But as far as spending money, I am to the point where, which I spoke of earlier, like with the roads, all this stuff is intertwined. I'm into not spending money that I don't have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I will try to do as much as I can, where I don't have to pay someone else. And then there's the aspect of lack of trust. I mean, I don't care what business or the work ethic or lack thereof. Anywhere you go, whether it be painting houses, customer service, and it just sucks. I don't trust folks. I just don't. I just don't.
Not in today's. Today is not 1980s, 1970s, or 80s. Yeah, you can't trust in. Yeah, there's no more trusting anybody. I mean, you don't. And then on top of that, like, you just don't know what people's views are either. I don't like. This is something weird about me. Random fact, but I don't like spending money with people or businesses where I don't know their ethics. So like, and I know that this is a lot of people don't like having this conversation, or they try to correct me on how I'm looking at it that's wrong. But like, if you promote like child transgenders, right? If you're like if you make a public stance on that as a company, I'm not spending money with you. You have the freedom of speech. You could do whatever you want as the company. You're just not going to get any of my money. I'm not spending money with you. I'm not going to buy anything.
That's a great thing about choice.
Yeah.
You choose for you.
It's so funny though, because when I
don't
explain
choose
that,
for you.
yeah. when I explain that aspect to some people, they're like, "Oh my god, you can't just boycott something because they don't have the same
Yeah, the hell
ideas as
you
you."
say.
And I was like, "Yeah,
The hell you say.
I can anytime I want, you know." And so, and so can anybody else. If you listen, you look at the Chick-fil-A. Everybody wanted to stop eating at Chick-fil-A because they came out and said they don't like the gays or whatever the fuck
Okay.
that they said. And so my whole thing is like, okay, cool, boycott them. They're still going to be in business. Even the companies that, Bud Light, nobody. I still won't touch. I really don't touch an Anheuser-Busch product. It's Miller Lite or Coors. I did just have.
I just thought, I mean, I don't even drink anymore, but just from a business standpoint, I'm like,
Why would you commit
I
suicide?
don't think that was a good idea.
Why would you commit?
And what took place backed my statement. But hey, it's your business. You run it how you choose.
Yeah, it's your business.
I
Yeah.
mean, for instance, I don't tell anybody or even suggest to anybody, hey, these folks behave this way, so don't spend your money. Now, personally, I don't spend, I'm not saying I won't consume their product if somebody else wants to pony up the dough,
Mhm.
but I choose not to do the spend money. I like to drink coffee. Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it's my personal. I read an article. I forget what state it was, but and I guess they don't franchise. I don't think. But anyway, regardless of whether they do or not, at a couple of establishment, the staff was given a person or two grief about a service animal. Look, I don't know if you know anything about service animals. Those dogs behave better than most humans.
People. Yeah.
So there's that. And then there's the aspect, there was whatever
No
state.
firearms in there too.
Yes, I was alluding to that. Yes. Alluding, yes. So, but hey, that's your business. You run it the way you want. Okay.
You just don't get my business.
That's very simple.
Yeah. Like it's
I'm
fine.
not saying everybody needs to carry. That's your choice.
Believe it or not, I've carried in a Starbucks or two. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not gonna know about it anyway.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, like their whole. I think this would be a good time to tell people that I don't know how to read.
Yeah. Look,
So
I'll just. Well, I ignore some things.
yeah. Well, what's funny is most of the places where they say you shouldn't have a firearm is the places that you should have a firearm.
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah, some of them.
yeah.
Now, like I said, I've traversed all 50, so there are 12 out of the. I don't count Alaska and Hawaii, but within the 48, I believe there are 12. Yes, 12 states that just pretty much ignore that I have an individual right to be armed, and in conjunction with ignore my permit, which I have one, but I don't. I shouldn't have one. No one should.
Yeah.
How
How does that even work? My dad recently, I think it was like last year, he flew up to a northern state. I think it was like Massachusetts. And
Massachusetts?
yeah,
Nice.
and
Good for
he went to
him.
go pick up a van. My dad's company cleans carpet. And so he went up there to go pick up a van and bring it back. And he took his firearm with him, flew with it or whatever, got off at the airport with it. And he drove and I was like, Dad, you drove across like a bunch of states where you're not even supposed to have a firearm like in your vehicle. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I looked into all that. It's good. I'm protected. And I was like, protected by what? He was like, the Second Amendment, man. Like,
Well, I mean, I'm on board with that.
I'm like, yeah, Dad, it might not be as simple as that. He goes, no, it's as simple as that.
No, I mean, I do concur, but yeah, I do. I do. I'm on board with that. But
his whole thing is he would rather be, judged by 12
Yeah.
than carried by 6.
Understood.
So, especially with like some of these things. I mean, you heard about the shooting out at Pier Park. Did you hear about it? Did we ever get any more
I don't
information on
believe
that,
I did.
Kendall?
I did not. I did not.
Yeah, we just had a shooting out at Pier Park, like literally a couple nights ago.
I don't watch TV.
Neither do I.
No. I mean, I look at YouTube. I read. I have multiple sources. I'll pick a subject and I'll peruse, whether it be CNN, Fox, or MSLSD, or
Yeah.
whichever outlet. And
MSLSD.
yeah,
Well, my whole thing is like now, it's so funny because I used to carry all the time. And then I kind of slacked off because I have to go on base every day. So I can't have a firearm in my truck or on my person. So then when I go out and about, I just forget to take it with me. And so, but like we have these little things happen. I'm like, dang, this is the type of stuff right here that's why you carry right there. Like, I'd rather be able to protect my family than be a victim. I'm, I don't like anything can happen, but I never want to be the type of person that will be putting my wife or my kids in their grave and play a victim card. I want to be able to say that I had the ability and I used my ability to protect my family in those types of situations. And that's called being a man. And if you don't look at things that way, I'll say it, I don't care. You're kind of a wuss. No, sorry. You're a wuss. Because like it is your responsibility to protect yourself and your family. And if you're against that, probably get the fuck out of the state of Florida.
yeah, it's a strange dynamic. I thought back to my upbringing. There were no firearms in the house. Father was in the military. So my dad's brother, he was in the military. He was a cop. For whatever reason, we didn't really have. So my dad didn't have any firearms in the house. First time I went to some relative's house, I think I fired it. I think I was about 11. Fired a shotgun. And then 18, I took off in the military. And just, and I didn't purchase my first sidearm until I was, I think, 28.
Really?
I just really didn't.
Late bloomer.
Yeah. Well, because I wasn't really introduced to it, right? It was the military. I
Yeah.
knew they existed,
Yeah.
but I didn't have other associates, coworkers, friends. As a matter of fact, the first one that I actually can recall, when I was going to school, I started school later. I started at age 24, 25, somewhere around there. And there was a guy in one of my classes. He lived off campus right around the corner, and he had a couple sidearms. So I guess you could, that pretty much planted the seeds. And 2 or 3 years later, I got my first. As far as being responsible, I am my first responder.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to get to the scene of the incident when I'm there.
Yeah.
That's just. And people, I've heard all kind of weird comments. I assert are weird. You think you're a tough guy? It's about that. It's a tool.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like
I have my vehicle, which is parked outdoors. I have a fire extinguisher in there. I have one in my shed. I have 3 in my residence. It's a tool for a specific purpose. I hope I don't have to use it, but if I do,
got
it is
one.
present.
Yep.
And also, being armed does not absolve anyone from being ambushed. Just like having fire extinguishers doesn't absolve me of fire or threat thereof. So
If people looked at it that way, we wouldn't have it.
it's very simple.
It's extremely simple. But yeah, people don't like to look at it that way. They want to spin this narrative of everybody who carries a firearm or whatever. They're looking to be a vigilante that's going to try to protect and save
Man, that's
everybody.
a last resort.
Yeah.
This in 1872.
That's the reason why I always laugh at guys. I had an incident back in December where somebody brandished a firearm to me. Pulled up their shirt, showed me their gun. It was like I just like looked at it. The first thing, which actually, the first thing you're supposed to do is de-escalate a situation, which I didn't do in this particular situation. I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's cool, dude. I'm really good at that. I'm better at that game than you are. I've played that game a lot. Like, I was just like, all right, I want to separate myself from you. You're not going to use it because if you see my gun, you're dead. I don't. You're never going to pull out a gun and try to threaten somebody.
That's a bad idea.
For
multiple
if I
reasons.
pull out my gun, I've already made the decision that someone is going to die.
There's a necessity.
And that is a I hope that never presents itself again. But like it is one of those things where, you know, if I like this whole thing of trying to act like you're a Mr. Billy Badass, this redneck mentality that you're just going to show a firearm or you're going to pull a firearm out. Like,
it happens every day
you
somewhere.
pull a firearm on me and it's lights out, game's over. Like, I mean, they and we, I know I spend a lot of time with guns, and so it's a shame because those people that think that they're going to use it as a threat make every gun owner look like an irresponsible person.
Yeah.
They make everybody look bad.
Thank you,
You
for
know.
being that guy.
Hey, thanks for being that guy.
Back to that guy. God, I love being a part of that nasty stereotype.
Yeah.
That is just excellent. Outstanding.
Yeah. Let's switch back over. Let's talk a little bit about your military career. You've been in the service. You're still in the service,
Well,
right?
yes. So, yep. I went in right out of high school. Did a few years. Got out. I had a plan. Was going to run heavy equipment. Well, whatever, that didn't work. And then I did this and that. Then I decided, okay, so I'm not going to get into the heavy equipment. Because I was living up in the Northeast, and I figured, okay, so in order to do that, I need to be in the union for the apprenticeship program. Well, that didn't work out because of economy. And so I said, okay, so I'll go to school. I enjoyed cooking. I worked in restaurants, and I said, okay, with the someday goal of owning my own place. Ain't gonna get rich doing it, but something I want to do. So I did all that. I took off. I went to school in the Northeast. Went down to North Miami. Went to school, and worked in the restaurant business, and did that for a while.
North Miami, is that near Hollywood?
North Miami's in Dade County, Hollywood, Broward County.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just south of Broward into
My
Dade.
family was from back when my grandparents were. They were in Hollywood.
Yeah,
So-
that's Broward County.
Nice.
I was in school from 94 to 96 for Associate of Science, Culinary Arts. Anyway, so I worked in the restaurant business, and I went. I drew up a proposal because while I was down there, I did a couple of side jobs, meet folks at out at bars and stuff. Because there's a lot of folks with money down there, and I met this guy. I don't even remember how I met him, but he got to talking. He was some type of telecommunications something. But anyway, I did a little side gig for him, for some guy, some older guy. When I say older, I was in my 20s, and so this guy had to be around 70. He had his own helicopter, and they were doing. The guy was trying to get business for him, through him. Had a gig going at the football stadium. I think at the time it was with Joe Robbie Stadium. Some football Dolphins. Look, I'm just there to prepare the food.
Yeah.
So I tried his little sales pitch, and you're not going to make money in a restaurant. Profit margin is low. So, to try to find folks to invest, there's a risk. There's risk. So that didn't work, and I just stayed in that business. And eventually one day I said, you know what? I'm going to drive a truck. Something I always wanted to do as a kid. And of course, now by this time I'm married, and I called my wife and I said, get me a driver manual. And she asked, what is wrong with you? I told her just that. I want to do something different. And that's what I've been doing since 2001. My first driving job, I hauled concrete. And I lived in Mississippi for 17 years, approximately.
Yeah.
So I left Florida. I wasn't going back up north. I don't like that up there for multiple reasons. So I said, let me try this over here. Look, when I got to Mississippi, man, I thought all those folks were on drugs. I really did. So remember, I come from the Northeast. I didn't live in New York City. Oh, hey, good job. But it's crowded and it's predominantly cramped, and people are zipping and zinging, and they're doing all this
Yeah.
stuff. You know, you got Massachusetts, Connecticut, Jersey, and all these places.
Yeah.
Um, then I'm down South Florida, where it's relatively a moderate pace. Mississippi, no, nay, nay. All these folks, like, can you speak up? Like, I mean, a little faster. Can you walk? Can you drive faster? I thought they were all on drugs because it was so much slower. Because understand, I got there in Mississippi in '97. I think it was '97.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, it's like going up to what's town not far from here, right up 79, like Vernon.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
There's
Lord.
what I'm getting at is it's not a thriving metropolis.
Yeah.
Right? It's just slow. It's what it is. You know, you got folks with horses. You know, and they got a little buggety riding around the yard. They got a few acres, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the entire state,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't accustomed to that. But then after about a year there, I said, "Okay, I'm good with this. Slow it down, back it down." And then eventually, my wife said, "You know, you're gone. You're doing this." And our son was grown up. And it's like, "I want to live by the water." I said, "Okay, go." So she looked at places to come, and we ended up in Panama City Beach for a few years. And then when I came home, because we used to live right by the water, and I realized one day I was out working on the vehicle. It is loud with all the traffic because we lived right off of Thomas.
Yeah.
And you got the folks come by with the radios, and then you got the folks well, yeah, there's that. And then the knotheads that cut the exhaust off and did all this popping and cracking and gurgling. I don't want to hear that. I'm old and cranky. But so now I live, I think from door to door, I'm like 6, 7 miles away, Panama City, and I go out the back door, and I hear frogs and I hear birds. Like, okay, I'm good with.
For now.
Well, yeah, and I do hear some of that noise, but I live close to the water, so the sound reverberates.
Oh, yeah. You live over there by, Camping World.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up over there. I grew up on the other side of 23rd Street off of near Mound Avenue.
Yes.
You know Mound? One street over, I was on Laurel Avenue, which is off of 19th Street. So I was 3 blocks from the toy box, and I was 2 blocks from the Gold Nugget. So I grew up in a great part of town.
Oh.
Like
When you first said I was,
well, actually, believe it or
took
not,
me a moment to figure
believe it
out.
or
It's like,
not,
what's he saying?
it's really freaking weird how those neighborhoods are over there. So then, actually, the street that I grew up on was not bad. The street that I grew up on was very, very was pretty being built up. Actually, I think we were the second house on that road. So I saw a lot of development over just growing up here since '93. Because that area really wasn't that built up as far as like housing communities go or developments go. But then one street over is a trailer park. And then one street over from that is like a church. So it's like nothing is consistent, especially when I was growing up in St. Andrews. St. Andrews has come a long way now. And they're starting to clean it up a lot. That's the reason why you got like Papa Joe's, Toy Box is gone. Gold Nugget's about to be gone probably within the next year or two because of the new ordinance that came out on strip clubs. But when I was growing up, I was kind of like,
I didn't even know such a thing existed because I don't frequent, though. I don't
yeah,
randomly go. I don't know.
yeah. But that specific area of town and even the area that you're in, I mean, you know, back in the '90s, it really wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't a great part of town. Now it's actually a pretty decent place to live. But I remember when I was growing up, it was kind of rough. But
My neighbor across the way, he's lived there in that area, that general area, all his life. He's 70. I think he's 70.
jeez, start talking to him. He's seen a lot he's seen a lot of
that
development.
just reminded me of something. So you seem to be pretty well versed about what goes on in the area.
Oh no.
Or you speak to those who seemingly are, right? So here is something, and I wish I don't have it at the ready, but I know you remember some of this. So 20, whatever year it was. So there was a vessel that struck the DuPont bridge going to Tyndall.
Uh-huh.
Recall that?
I
And
think
it
I
was shut
remember
down for
something.
about a day, a night.
Can we look that up real quick,
I
Kendall?
believe it was in the month of January. I don't.
There was a
Maybe 23.
a vessel that hit the DuPont Bridge.
Yeah.
Near Tyndall Air Force Base.
Yeah. So I think the source that I was reading was WMBB. It was an article. Like I told, I don't watch TV. I read stuff. But it spoke of that.
What were you going to say about it?
So, so the vessel, to some capacity, struck a portion of the bridge. So the bridge was shut down for a few hours, and it was stated that it.
What year? What year was that? Oh, this year.
No, last year. Was it 20 January? Or was that 21 or 22? Okay, so my point is this: I didn't know what kind of vessel. It just said that a boat struck the bridge. So it was shut down for a few hours, maybe portion of the next day. It was inspected by some government entity, DOT, engineers, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was stated in this article that it was, quote, structurally sound. Those words were stated in the article. Okay. Well, then a mere 18 months later, I believe it was, like I said, I think the source I was reading, at least one of the two, or WMBB, whatever, some TV station or something. But as I'm reading, it said that as the article read, that DuPont Bridge is supposed to be rebuilt beginning in 2024 because it's, quote, over 60 years old. That was in the article. Okay. And it is, quote, structurally deficient. So I say, wait a minute. 18 months ago, it was, quote, structurally sound. 18 months later, it's structurally deficient. There's been no hurricane, tornado, no fire, boat strike, no earthquake, no meteorites. How can it go from structurally sound to structurally deficient in 18 months? Explain me that. In my assessment, I'm not an engineer, but both can't be true.
I think that they're planning on. Can you look up DuPont Bridge bypass plan? I think there's supposed to be a bypass with that bridge.
But it said it was to be rebuilt. Okay. But then the other element that got my attention said over 60 years old. So I did a little looking. I think it was originally built in 29 or 28, 1928, something like that, or finished. And then it was redone in 68 or 69, somewhere around there, late 60s.
Yeah.
Well, simple mathematics.
Well, you know where the old bridge used to be. You've seen it. It's right over. Have you seen it on the left-hand side when you're going over the bridge? There's the old bridge there.
Well, regardless.
I think that might be the one that you're talking about because they had to have rebuilt the one that's there now. They probably built that one in the 60s.
So my point is this. So if it's rebuilt in the late 60s until 23 or 24 when I read that article, that's not over 60 years. Simple mathematics says that's 55 or 56. You can't do simple math. Right? Who's researching this? And again, I say structurally sound, structurally deficient. Can't be both. One of them has to be false.
When you start to say structurally deficient,
those were the
Is
words.
it unsafe? Yeah.
Nope. those aren't my words. That's why I said quote.
But then you're saying when the bass boat thing happened, they
When it
said
was
that it was
yeah, if
structurally
you
sound.
yeah. So after it was inspected, the words that were used in the release were quote structurally sound. So in 18 months, how did that happen? Somebody explain this to me, because according usually utilizing rational thought and no calamity, chaos.
Maybe it was, well, and the news and the media has been guilty of doing this a lot of times where they want people to feel safe. So they'll basically tell them whatever they want to hear.
Well, then you're being irresponsible,
Well,
or you're
absolutely.
being lazy,
100%. Yep.
or you're just deliberately putting out propaganda. I don't know which it is. I'll let the folks decide that.
Uh,
But then it said it's supposed to be start construction in 2024. According to my time and date keeping device, it's 3 April of 2025. Nothing's happened.
yeah, that's the reason why I was
it's-
trying to see
it's
what the
not hurting
plan
my
was.
feelings, but my point is, you make these statements.
Yeah. Well, the media is not held accountable by anything.
Well, they have to
They
get the
get
information
along.
from somebody. So what's the entity? What's the source
I would
of that
imagine
information?
the
Somebody has to
Department
be
of
responsible.
Transportation, FDOT.
I'm gonna take a guess. FDOT. I
Yeah,
could be wrong.
it would have. I mean, it would kind of have to be them.
But I wish I do it.
But I know that it's the sad thing is even trying to stay on topic about a bridge, but staying on topic with how the media works. They get away with saying a lot of shit. They get away with putting a lot of narratives out there too, and they don't ever they're not ever held accountable for what they say, because most of the time whenever they talk about something, they're talking about a public official, and because of the laws and how all that's structured.
Well, that's why I was saying earlier. I don't watch TV. I mean, I'll peruse different sources. I mean, there'll be some video, but I will read articles as well, and I will go to different sources. So, like I said, one was the MBB, one was a different source, like Florida Now, or so. I don't really recall.
Yeah.
I have it saved somewhere on my phone, but because it just irks me. It's inconsistent.
Well, and it depends on who's paying the media too.
And there was and there's a name attached to one of them. There's a FDOT spokesperson.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder.
Yeah, it's been a consistent thing here lately, especially in the media, where they're pushing narratives. So I mean, and even local shows, we have local shows that are paid by millionaires that live here because they want specific information out there. We got a local guy; he does that all the time. Nicest guy in the world, but then again, at the same time, he's paid. So it's like you're only pushing one side of the story. You're only pushing one narrative because of who's paying you. And chances are, if it was WMBB, um, they're probably in bed with some engineering firm or big construction company that's going to be doing the work, or some politician that is trying to push an agenda of having something put in, whether that comes from the state, county, or local municipality level. But yeah, I mean, dude, media outlets, they're kind of, and I don't think that the anchors or the actual investigators for the news station are the problem. I really think that it comes higher than that. It starts at a deeper level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hammering any particular individual. I'm just curious. I'd like to know the source. How can there be an inconsistency? And based on that,
Pushing an agenda.
So there's that. Whether it be deliberate or inadvertent, it's just not good. You're not fostering trust. You don't garner credibility.
What's crazy is I just had a conversation this morning with somebody who I've become what I consider a friend, and this person holds a local seat, and he had said, how do we, as a politician, how do I gain public trust? And I got to thinking about it, and I think the best answer that I had, that I could come up with, is public trust when you're a politician, media, or anything
two
like
ways.
that?
Well, go ahead. I was just
Well,
as
no,
soon as you asked the
go
question,
ahead. No, go ahead. What do you think?
because and remember, again, also all these little topics are intertwined. I guess say what makes me tick,
Yeah.
right? So my manner of existence was unsavory at best. So with that type of lousy lifestyle, there was a lack of trust. I was irresponsible and selfish. Two simple things: have actions match words, and say the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or unpleasant it is. Those are your two base.
My,
So think about that.
my whole thing
I mean, that premise has been going on since the dawn of time,
public trust is just like any other trust.
and I had to learn that. I learned it the hard way.
Yeah.
But and so as soon as you asked the question, I was like, I went through that.
Yeah. Public trust, in my eyes, is just like any other trust. It's a trust that you have between your friends, your mom, your fucking wife, whatever. How does someone come to trust you? Well, you live up to the word that you say that you're going to do, A, right? And B, you keep the communication clean. So, when somebody's like, oh, well, everybody's always suspecting that I'm part of some sort of corruption, but I'm not. Well, those people are going to think that anyway. And it's a very, very small group anyway. These people who run around and they're always pointing fingers and saying that the government, everybody in government's corrupt, nobody listens to it. There's only like 5 or 6 out of them, 5 or 6 of them out of a total of 100, just, using a small scale. I could care less. We have become popular because we don't run after stupid ass narratives. Talking about public trust, I've had people that there's only been 2 people that have declined coming on this show that are politicians, and to me, they're showing that right there that there's something to hide. I think that if you're in the public's eye and you're explaining things, a lot of these people that are politicians and in the public eye, they're scared to, because they don't want to be ousted for something that they say. Or I said something not necessarily in the right context, not the right way. Now I'm going to get crucified for it. And then on top of that, the narratives that are being pushed, these people are scared. I literally know some dudes that are running for office right now as we speak that don't necessarily want to go to the grocery store, because they don't want to run into somebody and then somebody immediately start calling them out and saying that they're corrupt. And it's like, I've never done anything like that in my life. And so it's that whole thing of, well, how do I gain public trust? That's not your problem. Your problem is being honest and doing what is right for the citizens. The public trust aspect, they're going to take your merit. They're going to take your example that you lead by, and that's how they're going to judge you. So if you look like you're corrupt, if you look like you're making the wrong decisions, that's what they're going to think. But if you're doing the right thing, people will see through it. And you just have to realize that, like, there's a certain amount of people that just, like, their opinion doesn't fucking matter.
No, my opinion doesn't matter.
Well, no. I think so let me be clear on that real quick. I think everybody's opinion matters. But if you're basing it with I feel, and you live in La La Land with a bunch of freaking, I'll tell you, like, we have fun listening to a local dude here. And it's so funny hearing him talk sometimes, because he'll immediately go to, I'll tell you what happened behind closed doors. This is what happened. And it's like, where is your proof on any of this that you're spouting out? Because all you're doing is you're creating chaos in a city. You're a cancer. Like, people, when you do hold a camera, when you have the spotlight and people listen to you, they're going to take what you say. Either you're going to have somebody that's going to be there and they're going to say he's completely full of shit, or they're going to sit there and they're going to say, you know what? He's right. This comes with a responsibility, having a show like this. This is the reason why I don't really like to put my opinions out there as much. Like, I just like to have people on and, what is your opinion? And then I've had people on that have sat in that same seat, and I'm like, this person is full of shit with everything that they're saying.
That's rough.
But I'm not going to say it to their face, because I'm not bringing somebody on to start a fight. I'm bringing somebody on so You can hear
Yeah,
what they
let the
actually have to
let
say.
let the folks
Because the only
decide.
time that you hear them talk, they got 2 minutes to talk. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll put a microphone in front of you for an hour, and let's see how many mistakes you're going to make. Because we've seen it recently, and it's been really, really bad.
You know,
So
so I think about when you talk about folks, you put yourself out there. I was wondering by myself days ago, how did I end up being in this little, flashlight? I wouldn't call it a spotlight. It's a flashlight.
yeah, I don't know how those
See,
rants that you go on
well,
is insane.
and I tried to track this down. So for years, I've been recording, and what I would do is I would send bits and pieces to friends of mine, saying, "This is what I deal with." Right?
Hey, Kendall, can you pull up one of his videos real
I
quick?
mean, there's a guy that I've been knowing since kindergarten. He lives in another state, and I've been sending him stuff for some time. Then there's a guy in my military unit I would send him. He actually started a YouTube page. I don't even remember what it's called. He started it with stuff that I would send him. And like I said, I don't even know what it's called, so I don't even bother trying to find it. But and for I just don't understand how it came to pass in the current format. I don't even remember how that happened.
Yeah.
The best of my recollection, I think I was just perusing, and I saw this bad driving bit, and I was like, "Well, I drive frequently. Let me check this out." It caught my attention, and I think what, to the best of my recollection, is it was on. So there are two elements. There's one where there are videos that are posted, right? And then there's another one which is a group where the group participants can put up either information or still photos, right? And I think what happened is somewhere in the comment section, because whatever the topic was, I must have put in one of my videos, and then it just escalated from there. I think that's what happened, because I surely didn't plan it, and nobody approached me.
So do you only cuss when you're mad?
No, I like to no, and see, I'm working to behave myself.
I could tell. Yeah, you've been very,
Well,
very clean the entire
well,
time.
so there's a time and a place. Usually when I'm cussing, I'm by myself. My wife will say, "Would you stop that?
Oof.
You're freaking the dog out." And, I'm putting coffee in the machine, and I bump my elbow, and it goes all over the counter, and I'm in there just going up and down and sideways with a continuous paragraph of profanity.
Yeah.
But I work to also give folks a certain amount of courtesy and respect.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just not everybody wants to hear that. For instance, a word may come in or go out, and I understand not everybody likes profanities, and I'm on board with that. I mean, I'm convinced that I have a decent enough vocabulary and am articulate to utilize to speak without such. But a lot of times, doodoo face just ain't getting it. It just
Yeah.
it will not convey the level of frustration, befuddlement, bewilderment, and at times just
Yeah, man.
contempt. And not for the individual, but the behavior.
Yeah.
And even in my own, I could be working on something and I mess up. Oh, you dunce.
Yeah.
Get your head from your ass.
Yeah.
So it's not about favoritism or this or that.
Yeah.
And I just let it go. I just let it.
Let it roll off your tongue. You gotta let it out. You can't keep
well,
it in.
yeah.
You keep it in, it stays. Oof. Because when it actually does come out, it's gonna be 10 times worse than.
Well, and again, when that happens, I'm predominantly by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a time where I did have exactly what happened. I dropped something. I'm putting groceries in it. Dropped something and spilled it. And there were a few words, and I turned around there. Lady walked by. Well, pardon me for my ladies. So, But now my wife will even say, "Why are you cussing at me?" I said, No. Understand. If I speak to you on XYZ topic and I use it, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, there's.
I'm not using
yeah.
profanity upon you. or at you.
Yeah,
I said, so explain to me. I said, I said, so you don't want to hear these words.
yeah,
I said, but I'm not using them on you or at you. I said, but yet you will pay money to rent a movie or stream a show where there's profanity, and you're paying this person to do that.
yeah. Well, I've always laughed.
And make no mistake, it's not that I'm attempting to point to bad behavior to
Yeah,
justify other bad behavior. That's a no-go. It's just I make a choice and I stand by it. I'm just wondering, where's the differentiate? The actor or actress is not using profanity on you or to you. They're utilizing it. So what is the difference?
so before I went in the military, I really didn't use profanity at all. I had a sales career, so I talked to people all the time. It just was one of those things where I would try not to get in a habit of using profanity. Also, before I went in the military, I was really focused on like church, and I was always in like a church atmosphere. Um, but I got made fun of when I went to basic training at Fort Benning when I had first got into like your first portion of, well, they call it OSUT. So when I got to basic training, um, I'll never forget it. It was like week, I think it was like it's the first month that I was there. It was like week 3 or 4. We had started range time, and we were taking apart different weapon systems. And so I was taking apart a 240, and I had a drill sergeant that came up, and I had my ACH on. And I'm sitting there and I'm taking this thing apart, and he's like slapping me upside the helmet as I'm doing it, like faster, faster. Come on, man, you're taking forever. I mean, every type of expletive actually. I'm not even going to repeat what he said because it was that bad. There was a lot of there's a lot of stuff in there, but and he's like, explain it to me as you do it, and I sat there and it was and like, dude, he grabs me by the collar of my shirt and like screams in my face. From now on, replace with fuck. It makes you sound less stupid. And pushed me away, and uh, I would sit there, and every time I said without saying fuck, he would smoke the shit out of me. He would make me do push-ups, and it's just but he was drilling using profanity into me, and because I didn't want to use it, I tried to say freaking and freak, and that didn't cut the mustard. He was
No,
pissed.
you're failing.
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
stellar
yeah.
fashion.
And he's just like I got hammered on using profanity when I left to go in the military. I got screamed at for not using it, and now different time. The military now, it's not the same. Not the same. It was we were at war when I went in, so that's
Oh, there was no shortage of that. I attended Army basic training and reported for I can't remember. I haven't hard enough time to remember the last week, but 2 July 1987.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things. Using profanity to me is a cultural thing. Veterans use it a lot. I don't really use it a lot in front of my kids. I try not to use it in front of my wife. But I mean, if I use my kids, that's the reason why people are like, "Oh my God, you use profanity in front of your kids?" Yeah, my kids are smart enough to know that those are adult words.
Yeah.
Well, I would never cuss in front of my kids. Yeah, because your kids are stupid. They probably would try to go off and try to use them.
I mean, it's just. Yeah, I mean, it's
It's
time, place, and manner.
yeah. There's a time and place. My son knows, when I get on to him about something, I'm like, bring your ass over here real quick, and walks over and I say, how many times did I freaking tell you about that? How many times did I tell you?
So when I'm, I mean, my wife and I, it's only the two of us. Our son's grown, has his own family.
Yeah.
But there'll be times in just a casual dialogue as this where the F word will come out, and it's just not a factor.
Yeah.
And then other times why are you saying that? Because I can. But he went in the military as well. But no, and now that you mentioned, so while he was growing up, I think I only used profanity specifically to and at and on him.
Oh.
I mean, I would say things. I'd be in the other room.
Yeah.
Or outside, and he'd hear it. But I think there was only once or twice where directly I put it to him.
Yeah.
I caught him sneaking out of the house or
Ooh.
or sneaking back in because I was waiting for him. And then he,
Things I get to look forward to, right?
yeah, and then I had to address when he took my wife's vehicle without permission while she was sleeping. I wasn't home. Like I said, I was out working. I was different state over the road. So I had to address that situation. So, yeah. But short of that, I really didn't have to.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I could convey a message, right?
Yeah.
My
dad was good at it. I know my dad did not. My dad did not hold back on words whenever I made him upset. But I still remember a couple incidences growing up in my teenage years where I made some pretty stupid mistakes. And my dad used to like to grab my ear and freaking pull me
I
in.
had a teacher that did that. Oh, she'd get the hair on the back of your neck, mess around and find out.
He used to.
But no, even though there are periods where I use copious amounts of profanity, there are sometimes I don't like to hear it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I don't.
Again, time, place, and manner.
I don't like to hear it when I'm out in a public place with my family, because like I've been out to a restaurant before, and there's some teenagers that are at a booth right behind me, and I got my wife and my kids there. And listen, I'm not anybody's daddy. I'm not gonna. But I have called. I'd be like, hey, can you get me your manager? And the manager will come up and I'm like, hey, can you seat me somewhere else? I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, can you seat me somewhere else? Because I just don't want my wife and kids to
Again,
hear what they're talking about,
it's
and
element of what I mentioned earlier about self. I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to use profanity for me. I call it enjoyable, but it helps convey and
Yeah.
in a manner also contingent on the individual who is receiving or engaged in dialogue.
Yeah.
There's that. But again, so I smoke cigarettes,
Mhm.
and I don't smoke in my house. And even though I've been smoking for a long time, I don't like to smell it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't. Stop at a red light, my windows are down. I don't want to smell it coming from another vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't like it. Like, well, you smoke, right? But I'm not the guy sitting at the red light where folks have their windows down doing it either. Wait till I get going. Again, it's for me, but I think of other people.
Yeah.
It may sound crazy.
The world would be a lot better and a lot safer of a place if people thought about things that way. People don't think about that anymore. We hit on a lot of subjects.
Well, yeah. So I guess so. The folks on or have been made aware of my existence via the bad driver page. I'm not, my wife says I'm complicated. No, I'm a simple man.
You just call it like you see it. Call a spade a spade.
Well, yeah, but it's taken me a long time to get to where I am. And what I mean, so either, of course, being young, I do stupid stuff. Always try to skirt responsibility. I don't want to be accountable for that or this and that. And it's just something I worked. So even my coworkers, I see things. I watch people and I listen. I don't catch everything, but I just watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see their pattern of behavior. Can I trust you? Stuff like that. Even if I don't even know the people. I have some coworkers I've seen do some questionable things. Like, okay, all right. And people must say, oh, it's no big deal. Well, that unto itself. But if an individual can't be trusted to do something no big deal, when something larger comes along or of greater importance.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, man.
I had a really good time talking to you.
Yeah, at least
we didn't have an agenda. We just talked, and
No.
I think it's great.
You know what I found kind of strange too? There was a commenter in that Bay County bad driver, and I guess, and I can understand at first glance a small clip of rant and rave, and they may think this guy's nothing but a mouth breathing troglodyte. He has no, class about him, no semblance of articulation. It's just profanity after, what was the actor, Full Metal Jacket?
Lee Ermey.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. Yeah, just that guy. But again, time, place, and manner.
Yeah.
So I started to type comments in response, and I do put forth effort not to use profanity in my comments. I don't know if you've read any, seen it, or even care, but I work to refrain from doing that.
Yeah.
And I also work to not engage in personal insults.
I think, it's entertainment.
Because what does that say about me?
People turn on
As an individual, if I can't disseminate and articulate
Yeah.
and have something that is based on fact or evidence, and I resort to insult, who does that help?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's kind of like our big thing here. If somebody gets on and they make threatening comments, we delete them, and we block the person. People can have their own opinion. I don't care about that. But then the aspect of like profanity and things like that, it's kind of like, this is my show, and if you don't like what I say and you don't like how I talk, just turn it off.
Yeah.
Go watch whoever else you want to go watch. So I mean, that's I'm not gonna change for somebody else. If you don't want to watch my show, guess what, dude? I watch Joe Rogan quite a bit. I watch Sean Ryan quite a bit. They cuss all the freaking time.
Well, and
then-
funny you should mention that, because I thought about that.
And,
So-
and I've earned. By the way, I served my country. I can say whatever the fuck I want when I want. So,
But I also, but if you notice too, when you listen to these guys, depending on the topic
yeah.
and the individual,
Mhm.
right? And yeah, so for instance, Rogan, he'll throw out the F word and maybe multiple times in a 3-hour span.
Dude, I've watched that dude straight up look at the guest that he has on and say, "Shut the fuck up," over
Yes.
and over and over again, and get
But
mad with him. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Ooh."
but it's an ebb and a flow.
Yeah.
It's not incessant
Yeah,
F from
yeah.
start to finish. And
Yeah.
again, time, place, and manner. What is the topic? What is the environment? Who is the individual?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm careful because we've done shows where I haven't used a dang. I've not used not one profane word, no cussing at all. And then I've had shows where I've listened to it and I'll be like, "Ooh, wow, that was
Yeah.
really rough." But again, yeah, you're right. Who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Dude, if I'm talking about guns, and guns, ammo, beer, and whiskey, dude, I'm a man. I'm gonna talk like if I have somebody on, we just had a minister on a couple days ago, and I didn't use any
Yeah.
any profanity.
I mean, even my
out of
parents come to
respect,
visit.
you know?
I don't. I mean, now the F word won't fly, but occasionally another word will.
Yeah.
Even if they're in my home, and my home is my castle.
Yeah.
But anybody that comes over, I'll extend them a certain level. But again, what's the situation? If it's just casual in a dialogue, it's just not necessary. It may come
Yeah.
out a little this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
A frequent word I really like to use is bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yes, everything is bullshit until it gets deemed otherwise, whether I or another. It's all bullshit. Everything's bullshit.
I just talked to a lady who I respect a lot on the phone last night, and she follows all this city drama, county drama, and all that. I'm indifferent now. I literally could care less about most of the politics that go on because I have everybody on all the time. We talk about it. I've heard every story. I've heard every rumor. I've heard every lie. And it's so funny because so many people are like, "Ron Keel doesn't know anything about this stuff." And I was like, I know 20 times more than you will ever know because I spend so much time hearing about the local stuff. And we've done our own research. We have our own opinion. But it's so funny because the lady that I was talking to last night, she was just like, she just kept saying that same thing over and over again, what you were just saying, bullshit. He says, "Ron, when they bury me, I'm going to have on my tombstone, it's just going to say this is bullshit.
Yes, it is. You know, you mentioned politics. Like I said, I ran the roads for many years, so I had satellite radio, and I had my whole day around the clock planned on programming and listening, and I used to enjoy listening to talk radio. And then after a while, I was like, this really sucks
Oh, dude.
because
Oh, I used to-
there's the redundancy, and then there's the other aspect is the vitriol and the diatribe. And there's a local broadcast that I listen, FM radio, in the morning times, and just even the subject matter, I got to turn down the volume. Not that I don't agree, it's just it's too much, man. I know XYZ exists. Like you're just hitting me, and I try to use the example. I said, think about this. On any given day, you either read an article, see something on TV, or you hear it on the radio, or you see it on one of these social interweb accounts or whatever. And the topic is paintbrushes. And every day, somebody's hitting you over the head with the topic of paintbrushes. You got to have paintbrushes. You got to have 2-inch paintbrushes, horsehair paintbrushes, synthetic brush bristles, plastic handle, wood handle, and it's on and on and on, day after day, for weeks, months, and years. All right, I get it. Paintbrushes exist. It's the same with the any topic, whether it be tariffs, and we don't like Donnie J, or it's we don't like the leftists with the colored hair and the mutilation of the bodies and whatever other kind of weird stuff is going on, or the Russia and the Ukraine and the Taiwan and the China and the Korean guy and all the other chaos.
Yeah.
Like, take it easy, man. Take it easy. We know it exists. When something there's nothing wrong with
don't bring me a problem without a solution. A lot of people like to do that, leaving these talk shows or whatever. It's like, dude, all you want to do is have all these people on that are always talking about problems, corruption, money's going missing, man.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, great. When are you going to start having somebody on that's got a solution to it? When are you going to start having on the opposing side to talk to them and see their fucking opinion on it? Nobody ever wants to do that. The only thing they want to do is they just want to keep chasing after this narrative that makes everybody look bad because for some reason you want to see the world burn. Because you wouldn't like it if the world worked properly, because then you would have nothing to fucking complain about.
Yeah. So my wife is notorious for telling me, well, I don't know about notorious, at least in my life, all you do is bitch and complain. Well, not always, but frequently. I say, yes, you are correct. I do complain about this, that, and the other. I said, but what is the difference between that and, let's say, if someone else does it? I said, I will explain it to you. I provide viable solutions, and I implement what I am able. The viable solutions many times require another individual or individual's willingness to execute. Just like when I'm driving and the ranting and the raving. I can't control that person. But what is the solution? You follow the established and defined standard. I didn't create the standard, which is the statute. And most statutes are actually a block of instruction on how to perform. It's not that they don't automatically tell you what not to do, but they tell you what to do and how to do it. So yeah, I complain, but here's a remedy. Here's a solution. That's on you.
Oh.
Put your bullshit on others. Yeah, man. That's right. Or for anybody else, you and your fucking bullshit. So yeah,
you got to do that. You got to get the knife hand in there. You don't get the knife hand in there, it's not real.
Oh, that's mandatory. That's a daily event somewhere.
Fucking, my kids know that when I'll talk to them normally, or talk with my hands, and then when they talk with their hands, I say, quit talking with your hands. You know that's.
Do you know why it's the knife hand? Do you really understand why? Do you know why?
I know why.
Well, there may be multiple reasons. Well, you see, usually people point the finger, right? And what's the adage about that? So you got these three people. No, no, no. This is 100% you because you are fucked up. You will
Fix yourself.
Yes, I was just yes.
Fix yourself.
That's a daily somewhere I utter that.
my wife my wife loves it, and my close friends know, because I always say I'm really good at fixing things. Like it's something that just stuck with me when I left the army. It's I was like, fix it, fix yourself, or I will fix you. I'm really
Man,
good
how
at
many
fixing
times
things.
have I told my wife to get her mind right and fix herself?
Yeah,
She's not a fan of that.
That, or you best unfuck yourself. Like
yes.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
I'm smiling. I like that.
Yeah.
And see,
feels good.
I've heard it, and it
Yeah,
just,
you just gotta look out the window and say to somebody,
yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
And what it goes back to, there's a standard. If you adhere to the standard, there will be less
That's the reason why I'm for humiliation and hazing, because it really does fix somebody. I know, because I've had it happen to me in life. It's not in the army. When you're a shitbag and you're called out for being a shitbag and the things that you did that were shitty, you stop doing shitty fucking things. So it's very, very simple. Like this shaming, people like to look down on the shaming thing, like the driving thing, that driving aspect. Throwing somebody's video up there and being like, this person's a shitty driver. They probably won't make that same mistake over and over and over again.
Not.
Because you got caught on camera doing it, and now, I mean, dude, Bay County bad drivers thing is so funny, because I'll watch a video come out and I'll just watch the views just rack up through the day, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well,
freaking 60,000 people saw that video today. And it's like, that person that was driving that Honda Civic now probably was at work, and somebody was like, dude, I saw you this morning. you were on that page.
Speaking of I saw you this morning, so I didn't really, like I said, I don't really pay attention to that, and where was I? Oh, so I drive a dump truck. I was at a particular material pit loading, and the guy loading the machine, he started mentioning about something, and I just looked at him. And I said, there's only one way you know anything about that. He says, I was looking. He says, I know that voice. I know that voice. I said, hey, man, I don't know.
Dude, there's so many people that follow Bay County bad drivers. I mean, we have people that don't even live here that follow that page. And then I've had friends that have called me in the middle of the day, and they'll just be like, hey, the admin, the founder, the owner of that page of Bay County Bad Drivers, right? Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty sure I just got recorded because, man, I did this thing. And if this video comes by, could you just be on the lookout for a Silverado? And like, if that,
that narrows it down.
And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't run that page. I don't know what they're putting out. I don't know how it works. It's just like, well, you could just call them. And then not too long ago, this has been about, it might have been a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. There was an actual incident they put out on that page where the cops were involved. And the guy that was involved in the video called me, and he was like, dude, I know. Oh, yeah. No. It was after we had our episode, so it wasn't that long ago. Anyway, a guy that I used to work with at another company called me in. He was like, dude, I had this thing happen, and I did this, and it's on that page. Can you have that guy take down that video? And I'm like, you're acting like we're freaking like we're best buds or something.
Well,
like
that's irrelevant.
Could you please call him? And then I did call, and I was like, hey, can you take down this video? Actually, no, I don't even think no, I did ask him. I said, could you take down that video? It's no skin off me, but I actually know the guy, and there's more to the conversation. There's more to this situation that happened that what is out there. Would you mind taking down this video? And after the laughing stopped,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, he was just like, "No, man, I'm not taking it down." I was like, I don't blame you. He's like, I mean, he says if there's more to the conversation, if there's more to what happened, then he needs to come forward and talk
Yeah.
about it. But the
Well,
cops are looking for him, and I'm just like, oh no.
well, along that premise, I have coworkers that, well, we won't be exchanging Christmas cards ever. And, well, and yeah, because I record. And what happens is they get spotted doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Did you call out one of your coworkers?
Well, not like that. Not on. Well, I say not like that, meaning not in a, global.
Hey man, you just call out everybody.
Well, listen. So, for instance, there's a certain job sites have certain protocol,
Yeah.
right? And an individual was, again, I'm waiting to unload this individual's ahead of me, and they're not adhering to the protocol. That's not my protocol. That's the contractor,
Hmm.
right? Like it, you're getting jammed up because I don't want to get tossed off the job because of nonconformity, compliance to the standard,
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
Then there's another barnyard animal within public view. Instead of going in the tree line, the wood line, he's out there making pee in front of the vehicle on the roadway. Not that there's a lot of foot traffic, but hey, could you find a more private way of disappointing your family and your family name? Maybe.
Yeah.
You think,
Yeah. Like,
So if I'm seeing that, who knows who else has seen it, right? There's a name on the vehicle door. It's not just about me, right? And what does that say about you and if you have a spouse or children or parents or whoever? Oh, come on. So people don't and I'll, at the end of the day, I may send it to a particular person and then it gets back to them and they get all emotional. Well, don't pee in the road. I mean, it's pretty simple. When on the other side of the road, there's a bona fide wood line, trees. You can go in there. Your whole person in there. Not be seen.
yeah.
Lazy and selfish.
I had to do it before. We were headed to Tennessee, and we were going through Birmingham, or we were just on the outskirts of Birmingham on the way out. The traffic was backed up. We were stuck there for like 2.5 hours. There was a really bad wreck. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And yeah, I was just like, told my wife, I was like, get in the driver's seat. I'm going to go. This traffic's not going anywhere, so just sit tight real quick. I'm going to go up there on that hill and over the hill and into the woods and take a leak. And I did, and I came back, and the car hadn't moved probably another 50 yards or
It's
so.
no factor.
Yeah, I just ran over and got in the car. It's not that hard.
No.
Common sense isn't difficult.
Well,
It's just not so common anymore.
I was just about to say, and there's I do not utter that phrase, those words, nor do I utilize the word logic, and there's a reason for this. And one of them you just iterated, it's not common, right? So the baseline is sense, and based upon what I see, behavior-wise and experience, it's nonsense. And the other is logic, and the reason I don't utilize that phrase or even allude to engaging in logic is because logic is flawed, right, by default. And I'll give you an example. So, statistically speaking, based upon actual sales and consumption of manufacturers of ice cream from any calendar year, January to December, the 3 months where sales are the greatest are June, July, and August. Right? It's very simple. Also, from any given calendar year, homicide rate, according to FBI statistics, the highest number of homicides in the aggregate for a 3-month span is June, July, and August. People are outside, right? They're moving around, they're doing things.
Hot.
multitude of reasons, but that's where they're highest. Those 3 consecutive months for the entire year. So logic would say, hey, we need to knock down the homicide rate. Let's ban ice cream. Right? Well, it's logical, is it not?
I was just gonna say the weather was hot, but
But that's why you don't mess with logic. So I say and strive to do is rational thought. If you look, and I've done this. I look up the definition of rational, then I look up the definition of think, which is an aspect of a tense of thought, and they're powerful definitions. But then you couple them together. That's why logic ain't worth a shit. It's bullshit. Back to that word again. No, seriously though, I mean these, and then there's somebody may say you're just overthinking. No, that's another bullshit word. In order for something to be
overthought.
in order for something to be over, there must be an established limitation.
Thought doesn't have a limitation.
Right.
Hmm.
It's just that simple.
Yeah. You're using logic.
No, absolutely not. Nope. Rational thought. Rational thought.
Rational thought.
You're overthinking. Negative. You might want to just apply yourself more. Or not. But no, it's like I say, and I adopt all these little things. I actually do try to put forth effort instead of just, burn my brain out on Dancing with the Stars or some other weird shit on TV.
Yeah.
And that's why I deliberately stopped watching TV, because there's just nothing that was. That's why I wasn't getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
And but I used to, at least whether it be radio or TV, I used to tune into a stock car race every Sunday, and I stopped doing that because of political aspects that crept into. I love racing. I love motorsports, drag racing, rally. I don't care. You want to do offshore racing, Baja racing. I like it. But I saw a couple of things, and I just no.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. And that's my choice. I don't tell folks that they can't or shouldn't. I just made a choice for me. And it sucks because, like I say, I like racing. I do look at little, clips, after the fact.
Yeah.
Because I still like it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to sit through that nonsense. I refuse.
Yeah. We talked about a lot.
Yeah, I'm just a different kind of kook.
Yeah. No, I had fun. This was great. You're always welcome to come back on, and hopefully you'll get even more famous with your clips.
I am curious to know about the dancing girl. What'd you call her? The
An
professional
exotic dancer.
No, really. I mean, it
I probably
intrigues
should
me
have.
because
This won't make it. We're cutting this, but
well, seriously, there's always there's the stereotype,
yeah.
and then there's the, well, I don't know, cliche. I'm doing this to work my way through school. Yeah, okay, yeah, right. As you're,
She makes like 6 figures.
but at the same
I'll
time,
show you.
I am convinced there does take a bit of, not a bit, certain amount of skill and training to pull off some of the maneuvers. No, really, with the pole.
Shit, yeah.
Because look, do you think I'm going to be swinging around that thing with one knee locked around it? That ain't going to happen, cuz.
Yeah.
You have to have some type of agility and muscle control. I don't care what age I was in the past. It's just not happening. I had a hard enough time with the monkey bars. Look, that's like gymnastic level training aspect to get to that stage, that point.
Yeah, that's like pro level, like type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said. So there's got to be some type of training regimen or practice, something.
Here you go.
Mention, legs give out when they get tired. Well, yeah, we know about that in the military. It's called muscle failure.
Yeah. But if you scroll through some of those, man.
So 7 hours. So
yeah, that's that
so
other one.
so if she's hitting it. Yeah. So she's hitting it hard for even 6
Yeah,
or even 5. Take a break whenever.
yeah.
Still, God. Well, that's my point.
Can you imagine if
Do
you
you think I'm
bust your
going to do that?
freaking head?
You don't think that takes some type of training?
Oh no.
And then with that, Paul Stanley footgear.
Yeah, that's some insane stuff. Like,
That's my point.
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be funny when I said that. I'm pretty intrigued about that.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I hate.
Yeah.
I'm not really a strip club guy, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I've never really been into all that, but I think it's pretty interesting how the business aspect works. And then they've got to be pretty much professional athletes when it comes to like that. I don't think not all of them do that. A lot of them think that they can just show up and
Yeah.
dance, but
So I don't know. Does I guess you'll find out. But I would have to say that most, I'm just taking a guess, speculatory, that most who engage in that, they work at one place or maybe two if they split their days per week.
I don't know. I'll have to ask her. We were actually going to talk
Or if
to
you
her
have to have
more.
a business manager, depending on where you go and times of year.
We were going to talk to her more about the new ordinances that were coming out that are shutting down strip clubs in the. Well, I guess I should stop calling them strip clubs. I guess gentlemen clubs, whatever, gentlemen's club, in the city, in the city of Panama City, like they can't operate anymore.
So incorporated limits, city limits, incorporated type.
Yeah, it was like you could be grandfathered in if you had already owned the strip club before a certain year, but then all of the strip clubs have sold since then, so they're cracking down on the ordinance.
Weren't there 2 or 3 on 98, right? Yeah, 98.
You used to have Toy Box, you have the Gold Nugget, and then you have Bambi's Dollhouse. Those are the only 3. I think you got one here on the beach. It's like show and tell, but it's not really they wear like swimsuits.
I just remember one on the south side, one on the north side of 98 years ago when I drive by through there.
Yeah, I don't really frequent those places.
And I'd make jokes. I'd laugh. My wife and
Yeah.
I just start laughing. It's just because the names and to make jokes, my feet are sticking to the floor, and between the drool and the beer and the
Yeah, I was. I guess that's one of the reasons why I've kind of stayed away from them too, is because kind
Look, there have been times, not my wife and I, we don't predominantly go out to eat frequently, but when we do, we'll both get to the door, no matter where we are. It's like, I opened the last door, you open this one, I'm not touching it, you touch it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, there's a lot of places that, like, even I go and I hang out. I've never really considered the cleanliness of them, but there are some good establishments. Dude, if I walk in a place and I'm scared of catching hepatitis, I'm probably not going to be there very long. Like, cleanliness is like a huge thing for me to get my money. But I don't think, I mean, like I said, I don't really go to strip clubs, but I've never seen one that was really appeasing to go in.
Like I said, I haven't been in one since 96, so I don't even know if that place is still standing. I don't know.
Go back home and find out that it's been
Man,
bulldozed down.
I'm trying
to
to
the
remember
ground.
what town. Like I was going to school. It was. I can't remember what town it was. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
96, 2000. Oh, that's almost 30 years ago. Oh, wow. Jeez.
Kendall, did you have any questions? All right.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's what it is.
Yeah, we got plenty of content. I think we're up at, 2.5 hours now?
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, man.
I just get paid. I get paid by the minute. I get paid on my app. No, I don't. It's lying.
He's not giving you money yet?
No.
You've been having a lot, but I appreciate you coming on, and I had fun.
It kind of makes, oh, yeah, you're welcome. It kind of makes me, so here I'm just an average Joe, because, and I was having this discussion, which just leads me to another topic. I recently was speaking with somebody I hadn't seen in a long time via phone.
We keep this going. I've got to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Let me take a break.
Is
I want you to say it into the microphone.
Oh yeah. So when we as individuals are young, right, children, and you say, well, what your friends think really doesn't matter because you know they're just friends and neighbors. So, but in the context, because humans are meant to interact, so you have a bunch of like-minded, like-age person. They're in the neighborhoods together. Then you go into school. Then you're a class together, and this goes on for years. And you develop a manner of interacting with other humans. You develop relationships, likes, dislikes, confrontation. You learn to deal with this stuff. Well, then all of a sudden, it stops. Right? Those people predominantly disperse. Right? They go off to this college or that college or the other college. Family business, military. Right? They start their own business, or they end up in the gutter doing whatever it is they're doing. And then after that, then comes family making predominantly, or career, or different country, living and working. And my point is, the farther we get in life, the harder it is to make actual friends. We have plenty of acquaintances, but actual friends, which kind of goes with this whole internet thing. People looking for acceptance, right?
Oh, jeez.
And
Ooh, slippery. I'm okay.
I mean, everybody wants
I'm
acceptance.
intrigued
I
by
mean,
this.
I don't.
Kind of straighten up the microphone just a little bit.
I mean, I don't wake up
there you go.
wanting to be loathed and detested,
Yeah.
but I don't need to be lauded by everybody. Right? I'm comfortable with me. I do make adjustments in my behaviors. But with this whole internet thing, so I'll have people that either disagree, dissent, don't like, or they'll voice their opinions. Okay, that's great. And so I work to interact with them, typing, corresponding. And some folks, I don't know if they're actually delusional. They engage in evasion, deflection, or other. I think I mentioned earlier that I strive not to hurl personal insults, or, or profanity. And another aspect that correlates with this. So I forget where I was, whatever page it was. There was at the time, a female. I think she was at or about age 60, we'll say. And this individual got snippy, snarky, and rather unpleasant with what she typed, a comment. And it was on some random post or whatever the topic was. And I just disengaged. And all I could think of was, there is no way somebody could convince me that individual, should this topic come up, we'd be in close proximity, close proximity in a checkout line at Publix, that individual would speak face to face to me like that.
Yeah.
There just ain't no way.
Yeah.
But with the distance, and it emboldens people to put out their cowardly side. And that's just a generalization.
So,
but like I remember, if you notice my theme throughout all this, patterns of behavior. I don't watch TV. I read. I listen, and part of it is psychology. And of course, you have a basic psych course in college. You don't really learn much of anything.
yeah.
But I'll read articles. I'll even read about sociopath and psychopaths and patterns of behavior. But no, we all exhibit at one point in time those type of attributes.
Yeah.
But it's again the pattern, and it just makes me wonder about in today's society and behaviors and because I'm just an average Joe. I don't hold it's not a particular job. I'm not a surgeon. We're not talking medical only. I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert in, let's say, welding, and this isn't a welding forum. I don't give out tutorials. I'm just your average Joe from down the street. Go shopping where everybody else does, and I'm really curious, how many people do you see in a day that you don't even know? You don't ever wonder about them. What are these folks into? What makes them tick? Why do they do what they do?
Yeah, it's
Because we've
kind of
grown apart, we as individuals. But then you have this internet, which seemingly brings us together.
like
It,
one of the reasons why the podcast started was to be able to bring on like average Joes. And so and then it's kind of turned into the political side of things. But man, dude, when you're sitting there, it's striking me hard because I have some weak shit. Is weak, bro. Shit is weak. I've had some weak guys who even consider themselves as men that have reached out to me over the past like year and like talk shit on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok. And I'll see him out in public and I'll be like, "What's up, bro?" and then, and like, I'm the type, I mean, look, a couple times a month, I still go and I practice jujitsu and I still hang out. Like I'm a normal. I like to shoot guns. I like combat sports. I'm into that kind of stuff. So like for me, it's kind of funny because like I'm used to like this adversarial uh brotherhood type thing. So like whenever I come up and I'm like, "What's up, bro?" Like I have no problem rolling around on the ground with you. I do it for fun. So I kind of have that attitude when I'm like confronting somebody because I'm like, "Hey, you talk shit about me on social media, and what's up? I'm in front of you now. Say it to my face." And it's so funny. I ran into a guy back at Christmas I had put out a joke on Facebook about something that my wife had sent me. It was a funny like little meme, and there was somebody that attacked my wife basically, and was like, "Your wife is immature and she's childish or whatever." It was a receipt, and it was a fake receipt. It showed the receipt of like a meal that was had, and then at the tip it says tip. Um, don't call my husband sweetie. And so it was just like it was a funny thing that I put out, and so people were like, and I just made a comment, all right, in the caption, I was just like, "I love my wife," and it was a joke. All the entire thing was a joke.
facetious.
Yeah, I mean, I was just being myself. And some dude, literally that I've known since I was a kid, jumped on and started running his cock holster and just wanted to immediately attack my wife, not being able to see the joke behind this. And so he just like went off on this rant. I didn't comment. And it just so happens I run into this guy like a couple weeks later in Academy on 23rd Street, the sports store. I ran into him. We made eye contact. We were both standing in line. And I went, "What's up?" Dude just got done talking shit about my wife. Dude, if he would have caught me back in like how I was when I was in the military, I fucked him up.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of him. I wouldn't have thought twice. Come and arrest me. I don't give a shit. Now I'm a little bit more reserved now. I've got kids, and like I'm like,
Yeah, there was a period where
I'm like I don't really want to go to jail, but hey, guess what? I will go
we'll
to
call
jail.
it spontaneous.
I will go
I
to
was
jail.
spontaneous years past, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just like one of those things where, and then what did he do? As soon as he made eye contact with me, he's like, "What's up, Ron?" And he tried to act like none of it had happened. And I was like, good choice. Because if he would have said anything other than that, he would have been sipping through a straw the rest of his life.
Actually, when you say anything, and I guess this is just per the individual. Well, contingent on if there was any thought involved. It's like, listen, I really messed up. Which kind of reminds me. So I put out, my birthday was recently, and I put out a little clip on my personal face page, book, whatever you call it. And it just so happened I was out to eat the night before, and I had to go to work the next day, and I was late to work. I was behind schedule 45 minutes. But my point is, the only thing I can think of, I just ate too much. I was in a proverbial food coma and was irresponsible, didn't set the wake-up alarm. But my point is this, I put this out there, right? that I mess up. Right? I don't try to hide it. I don't wear it as a badge of honor. It's just an aspect of my life that happened that morning. I messed up. So my point is, we're back to what you were saying. Listen, if you mess something up, own it, man,
Yeah.
and then just keep moving.
I've had to do it, man. I've eaten crow with so many people. Like I've had to go to people where I've messed up. I've talked bad about people. Um, Actually, one of the people that I've talked really, 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 really bad about, um, because I feel like he's the type of person that just doesn't hold a grudge. I don't know how people do it. Because I'm a grudge, I hold grudges. I do not let anybody, like, if you screw me over, or I feel like you screwed me over at some point in time in my life, I don't ever get over it. Um, this person, I found out that I was dead wrong about some things that I had been told, false information that had been given to me, and it turns out now, like I talked to this guy, I talk to him pretty frequently, and now it's like one of those things. But I had to eat some shit not too long ago where I was like, man, I said these things about you. I believe them to be true. I talk so much trash about you to everybody, and man, dude, I'm sorry, and of course, just his personality, who this person is, he's just like, man, it's all right. I understand and he literally said it for what it was worth. And it's good that when you start to surround yourself with people that are able to see things for what they are. He was like, I understood your mindset at the time and everything you had going on. You don't find people like that normally now. I'm not even.
No, it's seldom. It's seldom.
Yeah.
And that's an aspect of, well, see, I have integrity. I have an aspect of discipline and honesty. And somewhere along the way, you mentioned honesty, and I had the thought. So it's not just cash register honest, right? In front of other folks. Oh, look, I found this, or this belongs to you, or
Yeah.
but inside honesty.
People can't be honest with themselves.
And
People
that's
have
why
identity issues where they think that there's something that they're not. I do, dude.
And again, at a point in my life, I was that
Oof.
guy. And it's
Yeah.
taken me a long time to look inside me, right?
Mhm.
Because my goal is to be better than I was yesterday. Just
Yeah.
in all aspects. Will I fail? You know it.
Yeah. I'm probably one of the most arrogant, most conceited people that you will probably ever meet. I would imagine so.
Okay.
I'm pretty up there. But at the same time, I'm also a realist. I'm able to accept
Well,
things
so
for
you
what they
say
are.
arrogant, and all right, arrogant. So that's, well,
Yeah, I mean, listen. There are plenty of times I get caught on a daily. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to try to act like I'm perfect. I'm also not going to sit there and try to act like I'm humble and act like I'm trying to figure everything out to become the most humble person in the world. But what I do know is that there are times where I act like I know more about things, and even I know in that moment that I don't know as much as I actually like perceive to know.
hmm,
And it's because it's a flaw of mine. Like I see it, I accept it for what it is, and then later on, I end up becoming more apologetic about it with whoever the individual is that I had the conversation with. Um, but it's one of those things where when we're in the military, if you don't have the answer to something, you feel inferior. Um, most of the time because I don't have a battle buddy that I'm strapped to like I used to,
yeah.
So nowadays, whenever somebody brings up a topic and the way that in which it is presented to me, if I feel like I don't have the right amount of information, I try to assert myself in a way where I have just as much information as the other person. It's a very slippery slope on that because it depends on the individual that I'm talking to. If I'm talking to somebody that is coming across conceited, where they are asserting dominance over me because it's like, oh, you don't know this, I know more than you. And like if they have that type of attitude, I will pretend like I am on the same playing field than they are because I don't want them to know that they are better than me. If I have somebody that comes to me and they're humble about what they're talking about, they'll be like, wait a second, do you understand this? Because let me explain it to you. I'm open. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to learn. There's an attitude though that comes like there's just that you know what I'm talking about. If a person comes off strong where it's like you're stupid because you don't know this, then I have the attitude of I'm not stupid. I know everything you're talking about. So it's like it's a flaw that I have because I don't. It's like I don't like to bow to somebody that I don't like, and I don't like how they're going about the specific thing. It's a weird thing. I wish I could come up with a perfect example of
Yeah.
it, but it's something I struggle with. I mean, it's definitely a flaw in my personality.
Kind of reminds me of what I'm thinking of. Listen to what you're saying in the description of both entities. And I think of myself. Uh, so I've been told by multiple people through years, and this is something I'm trying to improve upon, and it doesn't always work.
Mhm.
My message is true and accurate, but my delivery sucks. My wife has said, and other folks have said to me periodically, you make people feel stupid.
Mm.
Well, that's not my intent. And I don't control other people's feelings. But I do understand that to some capacity, my presentation may influence that. I'm not a, what is the word? I'm not a diplomat.
Yeah.
I'm not a master
Yeah.
orator. And I do use some profanities. I think that's been established. So, and then you mentioned you mentioned that when you have somebody that knows more than you, or you will become arrogant and play that up as if you know more, or you don't want somebody to come off as better than you.
Yeah. I suffer with that.
Well,
bad.
well, I I do understand that premise, but and I would say recently, a few years, but or actually no, I've known this for years before, but recently I read something that was circulating around on the internet, right? So it said something about um, I can't quote the whole thing about a paragraph, but there was a line in there that says, "We are no better than the next guy," something to that effect. I said, "No, no, 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 I don't believe that bullshit." Well, on the aspect of arrogance versus humility, and
Mm.
I'm better than you. Well,
It's
and this is where
yeah.
people say, "Oh, you're so literal." Well, yeah. What does that mean? But let's get gut level honest. There's somebody. I am better than thousands of other people in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And guess what? Those same are better than me in
Mhm.
some form or fashion. You, Ron, are better than I in some way.
Yeah. Well, so
We're
I don't understand
we're
what the
not all
issue is
equal.
with
We are
saying
very
that.
similar, but we are not equal.
Yeah, most people that's that
There are
whole
skills and talents and
yeah.
and abilities and education and just natural intellect by
Yeah.
genes or by default.
I always find it funny when somebody
So when I
says,
say you think you're better than everybody else
yeah.
in some way, I don't think I know. It's been proven.
I always find it funny when someone says
And
to
the same applies. I'm not exempt from that.
yeah. When somebody says to be humble, and it's like, I'm not Jesus. If I'm and I listen, and I know this gets into a little bit of a gray area, but it's that whole thing of like, if I'm good at something, I'm gonna beat on my chest about it, and I'm gonna realize that I'm better. I'm gonna realize that I'm better than most at whatever it is that I'm talking about. Um, so I'll run with the things that I'm really, really good at. One of the and then so, but the things that I suffer with and I'm bad at, I will actively tell somebody that they're better at something than I am, and then try to gain the knowledge from them on how to get better at it. It has to be something important. It's not going to be like golf. Like, right? Golf, you have good days, you have bad days. Sometimes you shoot better than the next. I mean, it's just it's off and it's on. There's no consistency.
Oh
Pros
yeah,
can't even stay
everybody's best
consistent.
varies by the
Yeah.
moment.
So, but like podcasts, right? Like we went to a thing last night and everybody's like, he's stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Literally, I can hear what is coming out of somebody's mouth on the other end of a table about how, like, whatever. And I'm like, I'm better at it than you are. I've had on almost every single politician from the city of Panama City on this show. I've sat there, and by the way, the reason why I'm not going to be humble about it, I will not be humble about it, is because I've put in the work. Like, I go to bed on average right now through election season. I think I've gone to bed. The average is about 2 a.m. That's when I go to bed because I'm consistently um, editing podcasts. And then during the day, I'm calling people. Hey, will you come on the show? Can I get you on? I want to hear what you have to say. Like, and then being around my daughter, like I just had dinner with my son and my daughter last night. I didn't even have dinner with him tonight. I haven't seen him today. Um, and my daughter hugs me and she says, "Daddy, can you please come home and watch a movie with us tonight?" Well, no, I couldn't because I had an event that I had to be at last night to go shake hands and talk to people. And then I go to a place where people will sit there and they'll call me out and say that I'm wrong for what I'm doing and that I don't have all the right evidence and I'm not doing anything good for the community. And it's like, dude, I'm having people on to this show every day so people get to hear the voices that have something to say. And then I'm sitting there and I'm ousted for it. We're not making any money, and it's like, and I'm spending time away from my family. And then that's how people treat me. And that's how people treat Kendall and this stuff. Like, we see the comments that come by. Now listen, some of that is warranted because we have a sense of humor, and a lot of people don't like that sense of humor. But it's the whole thing of like people have a hard time seeing the good that comes from something and they only want to stay on the negative, and nobody wants to give credit where credit is due. So because of that is the reason why I become an arrogant asshole. I'd say.
Well, that's like I said earlier. I don't remember well. Early on, I said you do what you do. You let whoever shows up here
Yeah.
speak, engage, dialogue. Let the folks decide.
Yep.
Right? Here's what Humpty Dumpty said. Here's what Joe Neckbone said. Here's what Twisted Sister uttered. You decide.
Yeah.
All right, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, we got called out so bad.
Like you had that mayor fellow, Doc, on there. You had the
Yeah.
other. What was I forget the other guy's name? I watched. There was whatever his name is. I watched that or listened to that one. I say watch. I'm listening to it a lot of times because I'm driving. That other young fella that was I saw the
Daniel.
other day. Yep. There was somebody else. There was another fourth one I listened to up in there anyway. And I sift through it. I said, I agree with that aspect. I don't agree with that. And guess what? Who gives a flying fig anyway?
Yeah.
I'm listening for me. How is this going to shape my
Oh yeah.
how I live or what I do? I have to make a decision. Right? And then if I don't agree, or even if I do agree, contingent upon the subject, the topic, do I want to affirm, or do I want to negate what I agree with? But I have to cross reference. It's like there was this statement made about that walkway. So it was, so the doc said, I believe it was he who stated, well, despite what the fuck, what the folks want, I'm going to do this. It was either for or against. Oh, so if the folks want it, I'm going against it. Now, at a glance, one may say, but these are the folks who hired him to decide for them. So if they want it, right, he ought to do it. I comprehend that premise. But to listen to not entirely what he says, but what the other side says and what other little facts can be found with regard to finance, fiscal responsibility, existing items, right? Just because folks may want it doesn't mean it's automatically good for them. So he may be doing the right thing. My
That's
point
a
is,
slippery slope because then you start getting into the government deciding what's
well,
right or
and
wrong
that's
from
why I
what you
say
want.
that's why every individual has to decide for his or herself.
That's why the
himself.
non-binding referendum is a good thing. A lot of people
But
are trying to go
it takes
against it.
time. It takes effort. Like you say, you edit, you do this, you call.
Yeah.
In order to be somewhat informed, you have to do some digging, and that requires effort.
Yeah.
Instead of just going through life.
The thing that I thought was crazy about that little clip that went viral or locally viral. I'm not going to say viral. Viral is like millions of views. I think that clip got like 125,000 views, which 125,000 views on that. I think we had something close to like, I don't remember how many days of data that was watched between all of those people, but it was crazy. It was a crazy number. What's insane about the whole aspect of that is that there is a portion where Doc does have a point, which is, he's standing up for the people in that area and he agrees with them on the fact that they don't want a path there. This is his view. How we got drug into, well, we're wrong for putting that information out there because we put that little snippet out there, right? We didn't take it out of context.
Right.
You go back, you can watch it 5 million
That's
times.
why I say listen to the entire thing. And
But the whole thing about it is like, that's something that he believes on and he's making a stance on. For people coming and attacking us for putting that out there, you're slapping him in the face because that's something that he believes in. He wants to help those people there.
Yeah.
They don't want a path there. Hey, you know what? By golly, they shouldn't have a fucking path there because the people that have lived there on Beach Drive have lived there for however long. That's how he's looking at it, right? Those people don't want change. Those people don't want to look out there on a pathway. It doesn't matter if the state owns the road. Nobody owns property on the other side where the path is going to be built. All of those arguments, they're all bullshit. They don't exist. They're fugazi. They're fucking right. So the whole thing about it is that he's standing up for people that don't want it. The part where I just fucking get super freaking pissed as somebody who doesn't even live in Panama City, is the fact that you can't be honest. Just be honest about the damn thing and say, people that live on Beach Drive don't want this path. They don't want it. You hired an attorney. They suck. They've been on this thing for years. They haven't come up with any evidence that says that it can't be there. Florida Department of Transportation, their fight is with fucking Chevron that has the oil that has the fuel depot.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do. They're sitting there going, oh, FDOT doesn't want to give over the road. Well, you're giving half truths. Tell them why. It's because of the fuel depot. Now tell the other half truth that you're not wanting to put out there. The fucking city doesn't need the road to put the fucking path there.
Yeah.
All of these half-truths to try to prove a narrative where you just be honest. Listen, the people on Beach Drive don't want a path there. What is so hard about that? Oh, because there's no logic. There's no rational thought that goes behind your argument. So what happens when there's no rational thought or argument? Well, I got to make one. So let me start pulling shit out of my fucking ass.
It's
and let
called
me start
conjecture and...
Yeah. Oh, we own the property that's on the other side of the road. Oh, the DOT won't hand the road over to the city. All of this stuff has nothing to do with anything. No property's being taken from anybody.
It's contrived.
And all of that.
Contrived deflection.
It's just so funny because, and the thing is you're the first person I've had on where I've actually given my full opinion to.
I don't live there.
I don't live there
but,
either.
But I realize it's an issue, and I mean, we get back on this, but anyway, hasn't had one for over 100 years. Okay, Charlie Mike, man, F it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about it is that If I lived on Beach Drive, if I was one of the millionaires that live on Beach Drive, that owns one of these homes, that oversees something as beautiful as that, I might be against the path. To be honest with you, I probably would be against it. So what? But I don't. And the other thing about it is, again, it's not your property.
Yeah.
And so you don't get to make those choices. I
Well,
hate
you
it for
know,
them.
Yeah. Just my point is that the folks you put out information content here. Let the folks decide.
Yeah.
It's not on you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing. It was like, you set him up. I got so many of these things. You set him up. You took him out of context. I even had somebody that was like, you intentionally asked those questions that didn't have anything. I asked him all of the same questions I asked all the other candidates. And I mean, listen, I think Doc, I don't know, man. I don't know him. I didn't spend as much time with him, by the way.
Yeah.
He was very clear that he only had allotted us an hour. You're coming on a long form podcast. It's going to take longer than an hour, so, but he only wanted an hour. So I had to squeeze everything into 1 hour.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, so squeezing everything into 1 hour, that really put the cuffs on me to where it's like, all right, let's get down to brass tacks. What are your thoughts on Chestnut? What are your thoughts on Beach Drive, Martin Theater, Marina, all of the hot subjects that everybody wants to hear about? So it's like, again, that's one of those things. It's not on me. It's the time constraints that I had. Every other commissioner that sat down with me, shit, man. We had a guy on that's running for county or city commission, Ed Young. He came in here for, what was it, 6 hours?
yeah, that was yeah.
6 freaking hours, man.
Yeah,
and guess what? Gave him the time. I walked away.
That's
and
what I
like,
was referring
damn.
to. I said I listened to somebody. I couldn't remember saying, yeah. What do you do? Arts and crafts? Or?
Arts and crafts.
No.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
it was something about
He did the wooden bowls.
arts and crafts. Same
Dude
thing.
is super nice guy, great guy. He
Yeah.
give the shirt off his back to you, and we had him on for that long. He came in, he sat down, he brought documentation. I sat there with this mayor. I tried to pull up document. Hey, talk about the referendum with me. Talk about this. Oh no! Just read it. I'm not going into that. I don't have time.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're the fucking mayor. More people. No offense to the city of Panama City, and I don't care if they find it offensive or not. I will always have more views on this show than they will ever show up to their fucking meeting or watch their meetings online. Nobody's going to sit there and watch a 6-hour meeting to finally get to the nuts and bolts of things.
C-SPAN.
The amount of people that show up, the 12 residents from Beach Drive that show up to one of those meetings, guess what? I get more of them right here on this freaking show.
I used to watch C-SPAN.
He could, yeah.
I did.
He could have
joking. Back
reached-
in the 90s, I absolutely did. I'm an idiot.
The proof is in the pudding. That dude could have reached 100 and over 120,000 people if he would have just said something positive.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything positive the entire time he was on. I had to coach him. I had to sit there and be like, hey, man, don't you have something positive to say? Don't you have...
His poor secretary.
Yeah, I was like, don't you have a secretary that,
Well, that goes-
bakes you a cake or something? He's like, oh, yeah, well, thanks for reminding me about the people.
Well, and we touched on this aspect earlier about what was it exactly? What did we say? Credibility, telling the truth, and having your actions match your words. Right. So if you have somebody that dwells on negative all the time, well, what do you think the outcome is most likely going to be negative?
It's going to be negative.
Because your actions match your words. I mean, everyone has an aspect of negativity at some point in time.
Absolutely.
Have you not seen the videos I put up or submit? That's not exactly always positive.
I try not to chase the negative on here with people. I try to stay positive. I mean, hell, I just had the mayor on from Lynn Haven. This guy, listen, whatever you want to say about him, he's because we've heard it all today, but it's the whole thing of like the guy came in here. We talked about positive things that happened in Lynn Haven. We talked about negative things that happened in Lynn Haven. Every single time he ended a statement, it was moving forward. Whenever he talked about Lynn Haven, it was all about moving forward. Hey, moving forward, this is where we want to be. Moving forward, this is what we want to see. And what?
It's just the redundancy in the with certain phrases and
Yeah.
when
Oh, when you hear the word moving forward, it's like, well, why are we moving
or
forward?
just
What is
cliches
it?
at the end of the day, and they kick the can down the road, and
Yeah.
no cliches. Stop it, please. Oh my God. Oh, can you not?
I mean, this is the community. This is the community that we live in. I mean, at some point in time, it's just like anybody who just wants to complain all the time about where they live. Like, everybody's corrupt. Everybody's always blah, blah, blah." It's like move. Dude, if you don't like it here,
Well,
just move.
you mentioned that. So you say, yeah, people say everyone in the government is corrupt. No, there's a select few.
Yeah.
It's not everybody.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that earlier on. And what I've been saying for years, that government in the aggregate is a crime syndicate. Just because the folks who are part of it doesn't make, so thus they could be corrupt by default, but they aren't executing the actual unsavory, deep bad behavior.
Yeah, I know. That's what's so funny about when they
know.
say like the deep state. All of these.
It's a fact. It's just
Well,
for
like,
instance.
it's-
All
it-
right, so you have Walmart. It's global. We'll just
Yeah.
use Florida, right? You have a CEO up in Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Running Walmart. Well, you have one particular Walmart that won't let certain folks park there, right? You'll have another Walmart where this store manager does this, shady shit. Right? Then you have a department manager in another store who treats the employees, like bullshit. Well, by default, the guy at the top is guilty because it's his operation. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that the guy at the top knows what every individual's doing.
Yeah.
So that's why I say government in the aggregate, they're all shady, man. And the reason being, it's not their money.
Yeah, but I had
So-
this
and there's no
conversation this morning, and
accountability.
I literally said, I don't
And then
think
there's
you
the
should ever
insatiable-
trust the government.
Yeah, and there's I got a leg cramp. Oh goodness me! Wow, how'd that happen? So there's the element of lack of accountability. Right?
Yeah.
I have a beef going with when you talk about accountability. Bay County Road and Bridges. A personal beef. Well, not personal, but it's a legit. So when I moved in mother of pearl, where I live,
It's all those diet sodas, man.
yeah.
All the sodium.
Oh, yeah, about that. Maybe not. But regardless, so where I reside on a corner lot, and so I moved in, and I have these trees that essentially line the perimeter. So I started to prune those, and this was years ago. And before, so I had all these cuttings, and I had them all stacked neatly, same direction. And my plan was to eventually get a chipper, chip them, and use that material in some beds I was going to make around the house. Okay, got that. Well, in the interim, I got a piece of hate mail from the county saying I'm a violator because I have all this stuff stacked up. Okay. I already planned on getting rid of it anyway, so I chip it and clean up. Then I got the survey information for residents.
Yeah.
So it turns out that all those trees I pruned, those are government trees. They're in the right of way. On both sides.
Okay.
So despite finding out that it's still government property, right of way, I still mowed and edged and trimmed, and I did that for 2 years. And then I decided, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And so on the corner, the traffic would go, individuals would drive, and they would cut too close, and they'd drive on the grass, and they'd rut it up. And so before I knew about before I got the survey information, I got some big rock, and I lined that area to prevent that from happening. I came home from work one day, and all the rocks were out of there and neatly stacked in the right of way. And there was a business card on my door
Yeah.
The road and bridges. Oh, we don't use this for well, whatever the message was.
Good. Fix your shit. That way it doesn't happen.
Right. So then,
Yeah.
so I emailed, and I forget the guy's name, but he's to be like somewhere at the top of the road and bridges department. And I explained to him what was going on. Well, eventually, somebody came out and tightened it up. They put a little material in there. They put sod on there, and they put 2 object markers. They're about this large, yellow, reflective. You see them on medians, and
Yeah.
so they put a couple of those out there. So what I did after that was done, I emailed this individual back saying, hey, yes, this was completed, and I had the sprinkler going. I said, look, I'm doing my part, for the neighborhood. It's not my property, but thank you. Within about 48 hours, I noticed the 2 object markers were gone. Where'd they go? Well, somebody stole them, so I notify you. They're gone. And they were stolen. Vandals. I don't know. Never were replaced. So time goes on, and I stopped maintaining that to see what would happen. See if these folks would do their job. Because now, less than a mile away, the mowing tractors are parked. They're staged. I think it's about 3/4 of a mile, half to 3/4 of a mile, if that. Or is it 3/10? Anyway, it's very close to my residence. The county tractors park, road and bridges. Got the little dopey symbol on there. But they'll mow around, but they never mow that section on the corner of where I reside. That's interesting. So as time goes on, people start driving up that corner again. So I purchased my own object markers. And this is per federal guidelines, the manual for uniform traffic control device, right? There's a standard.
Yeah.
And I got all I got the items. I measured. I read the conditions.
Tracking.
Yeah, 48 inches from bottom to surface, spaced. Had them all set up. My dime. Conforming with federal standard. It was 24 to 36 hours. I was at work, training, wherever I was. The government pulled them out. Set them in my driveway. Well, that's interesting.
It's amazing how you can come over here and pull that up, but you can't maintain what's
Within
going on there.
24 to 36 hours of me putting them in, and I do this stuff on the weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Because I work during the week.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that somebody just woke up from the road and bridges department and said, hey, maybe we should just drive by this guy's area and check on this corner?
Sounds like you got a neighbor that's a douchebag.
Well, regardless. But still, call me crazy. And like I said, it's not my property.
Yeah.
I'm doing it
Just literally trying to help.
for the neighborhood.
Yep.
So I stopped maintaining that area. And for over 2 years, it was maintained correctly one time. And the equipment exists. The personnel, hell, my neighbor across the way said he saw some guys on the tractors. They made one pass backing in there. And one day he said there were 2 tractors in close proximity and the guys were having dialogue, conversing. And he says, hey, when are you going to do this? He said, those 2 guys just ignored him. Wouldn't even talk to him. Wouldn't even acknowledge he was there. I don't know. And then you wonder why I'm not a fan of government. And that's just on the local level.
I don't wonder why.
Right? And this is... Right? And I'm not asking something that is exorbitant. Remember what I stated about fuel tax?
Yeah.
That's an aspect. So the guys on the tractors are getting paid. Get paid by the hour. You have the equipment. You have the fuel. Whoever's above them's getting paid.
Yeah.
Why not do your job?
Yeah.
I'm not asking something that's exorbitant. And I know, and I also see in other parts, and I actually have it on the dash cam of another right of way where there's guys out there in a little 4-wheel contraption picking up debris and papers. And then there's another guy with a string trimmer. Some of them had a 0-turn mower. for county right away. You managed to do it over there on that side of town, but not over here. I don't know, man.
Like you need to make a call to a county commissioner.
I thought about that.
I know one that you could
I did.
probably.
And I'm not, again, I'm not asking for something that's for my personal. It's what's going on. Explain that to me.
Yeah.
And like I said, so the neighbor I said who lives there grew up in that area. So I said, hey, you know this isn't my property. You grew up here. You were here long before I was.
Yep.
So it's, yeah, Shay, that's why I say in the aggregate, it's just government's a crime syndicate. They just unsavory. Unfortunately, it's a necessary element in our society.
Yeah.
So it's not that I want to do away with and become anarchist. It's how the job is done.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a steward, be a steward.
Yep. Absolutely. I have got to wrap it up. I have got to get home to my kids and wife. Dude, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
It was great. I had fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you're a hoot.
It's just, I'm just curious. So all the folks that